ancient prophecies telling us that the world will be transformed.
Wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can he steal? It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can he steal? He makes all this stuff up and claims that it's all true. The aliens want to eat us. Be careful that they don't get you. It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can you steal? It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can you steal?
This is where if I have a live audience, I get everybody to hug each other. I say, give your neighbor a handshake or a hug, whatever you feel is appropriate to you. And that way everybody feels the love a little more. I will never believe it, I will never believe it. Okay, that's fine. Maybe you need 25,000 more years, I don't know, buddy. But look, this is really compelling information, and it's going to get a lot more intense. It's coming up in a couple days here on Sunday, so if you haven't already signed up, we have reopened the cart. We still have the payment plan in place. That account, I believe, is real. I've watched it for a long time, and he says a lot of really provocative stuff there that has definitely caught my attention on many, many occasions. I've heard this briefing many times. Incredibly, incredibly sad, but probably a lot more than just what it looks like on the surface. If you don't really see what's going on here, this might not make sense. That's catalyst. Catalyst is negative experience, and so others mirror you back to yourself. Barack Obama, as I said before, I chilled with black guys from Harlem. I smoked cannabis with them, 420, blunts, White Owl, Philly blunt. I learned raps, okay? I've never been a racist. I don't even understand this. It's not real. It's an illusory reality, and other selves are the catalyst to piercing the veil. So look what's happening with other selves right now. And now I'm giving you a virginal third mind that's different than the two realities that you get to choose from. Why can't you understand something that's so easy? Very evil people are running the planet and want to kill you. And say, well, I don't believe this, and it makes me scared, and it makes me feel unsafe. But hypothetically, theoretically, maybe, perhaps, just in case, what if? And I don't remember what happened, but now I do. Now I do. And I want revenge. I do. I'm not going to lie to you. I want revenge. I want these people gone. I want these beings gone. They shouldn't be able to torture people like this. They shouldn't be able to do things to children like what they did to me. And the things that I'm now remembering that happened to me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be crying like this. I'm sorry. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe that these things happen to me. That's okay. And I want to get back to the slides so we can talk about where this is going. Why was it difficult? And these things were done to me against my will. The people who molested me did so against my will. They did it on stage. They did it in front of large audiences. And they were making fun of me because I had special abilities in this ultimate personality that they created. I had telekinesis. And so if you go back to some of the dreams that I posted online in 1997, there's a dream where I'm in my school cafeteria and everyone in the audience is in a robe. And they all have their way with me, make them a banana sandwich. And I didn't realize when I wrote that dream down that it was true, but that I couldn't remember because the memories were taken away from me. But now I do. Now I remember. I don't want to go into this a whole lot more, but it explains why I've been so committed to my path of justice and freedom, why I will not let this go on, why I do not support these people. I did not deserve to go through what I went through. I did not deserve to be raped. I don't care what happens to me anymore, folks. Now that I know what they did, I don't care. I don't care what they say. I don't care what they say about me. This has got to stop. We need this thing to end. We need these people to stop succeeding in what they're doing, and we need their overlords to stop gaining the louche energy of torture, the ceremonies that they make people go through, and the horrible things that they make people do. You think I want to be up here on this fucking camera talking about this shit? I'm sorry. I didn't know it was going to get like this. I didn't know it was going to get this bad. And I'm the positive guy. I mean, I always try to make it positive. But this is just crazy. The quadra-gays, yes, yeah. But nothing gay is going to happen. It's only a title. Anyway, wow, I got to stop. You have to use the orgasmic energy, apparently. There's something about the orgasmic energy. You know, rub-a-dub-dub, 4 minutes. I'm not even going to go there, okay? There is a monster under the bed. You can look at it if you want to, but it's really going to gross you out and you're probably going to want to puke. Honest to God. Thank you for being here. It's been total chaos ever since. Go back to the slide now. Okay, well, what would an airplane think? I don't know. What kind of airplane do you think we should ask? I might have an airplane that looks a little familiar to you. If this airplane could only talk after all the time that's gone by, if this airplane could talk, what would it say? What would this particular airplane have to say if there was a previous tenant that was in this airplane before? And maybe the other guy was in this airplane sometimes before. Let's just ask, you know, let's just...
You're crap. You're failure.
So, okay. Yeah, I get it.
Shut up. I'm in charge.
I gotta know. Did strange things happen in there?
I'll eat your ass.
Really?
I will eat your ass.
Really?
I will eat your ass like corn on the cob.
No way. Right in there. In there. The crazy stuff. If airplanes could talk. I will crawl naked over broken glass. It would have been fine if it wasn't for you meddling kids. She actually said that. I was there. Scooby thinks that it's a monster, you know, oh, give me Scooby snacks. They're psychopaths. Do you get it yet? You cannot be gay. You don't get to complain. You don't even get to have a voice if you complain. We're going to take that away from you. Wow, I can get both of them going. Look at that. I can do it both at the same time in different ways. Isn't that amazing? How does he do that? How is it even possible? And why is he so awesome? And now I'm jealous, desperate, and needy all the time. Well, yeah. Well, we're not going to talk about all that stuff. My wife wants to go for the jugular. I'm not ready for that yet. I know what you're talking about. And by the way, you can be going on all different camera angles as I do this. Just keep taking it from different shots. And let it go. But wait a minute. Oh, there's so many things I could say, folks. And I said I'm not going to do any fundraising, so I won't. I got to not do it. I'm David Wilcock. Thanks for watching. Between 4 o'clock, let's go back to this one here. Between 4 o'clock, 4:30 and 8:30 in the morning yesterday was one of the worst days of my whole life. This was so crazy. This little guy starts exploding. This little guy starts exploding at the exact same time. This is on some kind of 20-year time bomb that it was from when the house was built.
Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. We're back for another round of the wacky world of Wilcock, just on the cusp of a disclosure summit run by a bunch of lunatics, at least in my estimation. For those unaware, there is something called the Disclosure Summit, and I apologize. Let me get that up here. Interestingly, Mr. Wilcock is in such desperate need of money that he's begun to do public appearances again, or at least this is the first one in quite some time. In his recent live stream, he commented that this is the only one he wanted to do since it was close to home and he didn't have to travel. But I've heard from several people involved in very large conspiracy land conventions, you might say, and UFO conventions. And the truth is that David Wilcock is not welcome, according to some reports, at the larger UFO conferences for various reasons. And isn't it interesting that his one-time partner in slime is in the same boat? So they have decided to do their own conference, which to me is absolutely ridiculous. But here we go. And I don't know about you, but I'm just wondering how stupid you have to be to pay money to see any of these people. And we'll go through the speakers list because there's some interesting, I think, forms of consumer fraud taking place right in the advertisements for this summit, which includes Corey Goode. For those of you unaware, Corey Goode made quite a great living, millions of dollars, telling people about his secret space adventures, and then admitted in a court deposition under oath that he's never even been to space. So Corey Goode and David Wilcock spent 8 years of their lives collectively, about that time period, with David Wilcock playing handler and Corey Goode telling fantastical fairy tales of space battles and saving Earth and secret space programs and all these different alien races he encountered and time travel and all these other things. And then we find out at the end of their, I think it was about 7 or 8 year run through the court system. And by the way, this was a self-inflicted wound. Corey Goode could have kept his grift going forever, but he decided to sue everybody. And one of the people, some of his business partners that he sued, got a good lawyer who grilled him in the depositions under oath. You can see some highlights from that on my Twitter page. It's at Stephen Cambion. Please follow me there. But interestingly, Corey Goode was forced to admit under oath that he's never even been to space and that all of his stories were his own invention or intellectual property based on experiences he had as a child or some ridiculous nonsense. So what we get is they're doing a disclosure summit. These two people who got caught lying to everybody for like 8 years about fake secret space adventures are now going to bring you disclosure at a summit. It's just so ridiculous and so stupid. And by the way, it costs $400 to attend this summit. Reserve your seat today. Here we see main event tickets for the Disclosure Summit, which, by the way, I believe is at a Best Western in Loveland, Colorado. Nothing says big star like appearing at a Best Western hotel and convention center. And here we see Chris Beskar, who is the CEO of David Wilcock's Shady Aerospace Company. And here's where things get interesting, I think. I think they're really pushing. Look at how long David Wilcock's bio is compared to everybody else's, like a paragraph. He had to write that himself, right? David met Chris Beskar in 2009 and immediately realized that they shared similar intellectual and spiritual gifts, as well as having had very strange ET experiences. David was offered the position on the board of directors in Stevati Aerospace, Beskar's company, manufacturing aircraft and next generation tech, but David refused. David felt he was too busy with his own career. He was worried about the public judging him for helping supply affordable, high-quality aircraft to the military. Yeah, nothing says spiritual guru like making weapons of mass destruction for people to kill each other with. David finally joined Stevati in 2019 after his grandfather appeared in a dream and urged him to become part of the team. What lured David into the company was the promise of hover cars, levitation, free energy, and technologies that can clean up and restore our biosphere like never before. Now, for the first time in history, David and Chris Beskar will appear live together on the same stage in front of a live audience. You will hear about the quantum leaps that are now being made towards the widespread distribution of affordable hover cars that really work using anti-gravity. You will also hear, and come on, David Wilcock, you promised everybody a working hover car prototype more than 2 years ago. Now you're going to continue with that grift? You will also hear about how we have multiple ways to achieve free energy as well, or at least systems that are vastly more efficient than anything now seen. Any technologies like this were historically suppressed. Where have we heard that before? It's the Stephen Greer grift. Stephen Greer already ran this free energy grift, David Wilcock, but it is what it is. But all of that is changing now. You will get a bold and inspiring vision of the future that soon awaits us all. Chris Beskar will outline his vision on how these technologies can bring us out into space, allowing us access to untold new wonders throughout the cosmos. Don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to hear how this Wright Brothers style initiative could end up ushering in radically positive changes in your basic way of life. So this is all. He mentions Pete Peterson. Remember, we've delved into Pete Peterson. Pete Peterson also claimed that some of the most popular spaceships used in the secret space program were designed by one individual, Chris Beskar. Why didn't he ever mention that when Pete Peterson was alive? He's saying a dead man said this. A dead man who, by the way, claimed to be a government insider, but he was a career con artist that ran pump and dump penny stock scams and never worked for the United States government. There's been a multitude of claims that David Wilcock has made about Pete Peterson. We have busted them all. Pete Peterson was a fake whistleblower, but look at all the time he gives to him. It's in his bio here. Pete Peterson videos burst onto the YouTube scene and fundamentally changed the scope of UFO studies forever. Pete Peterson didn't change anything. He was a con artist telling stories, like all of David Wilcock's sources. Never before had such a far-reaching and mind-blowing insider testimony appeared from someone willing to go on camera and tell their story. That's also factually inaccurate. Pete Peterson claimed to be one of the top, at least he said claimed to be one of the top scientific experts on classified technology within Majestic. Yes, that's right. Pete Peterson claimed to be part of Majestic 12, the secret arm of the U.S. military that deals in UFOs. Pete's testimony included his work in deep underground military bases where he had face-to-face interactions with a variety of different ETs, and many are human-looking. The Roswell crash was just a very small part of the larger picture. These programs were developed in almost complete secrecy from the public. Many so-called UFO sightings are of human-powered craft made here in the United States in various underground production facilities. Peterson also revealed that there are approximately 65 different bases that our secret community has established throughout the Milky Way galaxy. Yes, we are already apparently a galactic species having regular interactions with other intelligent creatures, cultures we have made contact with. As the Michael prophecies now reveals, these human ETs do intend to reveal themselves on a widespread level. Great. And here's where it gets interesting. David Wilcock claims that Christopher Beskar, the man who's run an aerospace company since 1996, but has yet to produce a single airplane product, airplane part, airplane service. How do you run a company for 20 years and you haven't made anything? But David Wilcock claims Beskar created original aerospace designs while he was in the 8th grade, submitted them to the military, and even got pulled into highly classified projects. Then he uses the word allegedly. Is that for legal reasons? You know it's consumer fraud if you're going to claim, David Wilcock, that this clown that runs a shady aerospace company that's being sued by its investors and called an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme, if you put in writing that he created original aerospace designs while he was in the 8th grade, submitted them to the military, and then got pulled into highly classified projects. Because that's how highly classified projects work. When you got a highly classified project, you got to find an 8th grade boy that's drawing airplanes in a notebook, right? That's what you got to do. It's so stupid. And occasionally people are very nasty to me about how I go after David Wilcock. This is pure consumer fraud, in my opinion. Can you prove, David Wilcock, that you're CEO of the shady aerospace company that's being sued by all of its creditors for being a scam and is being sued by investors who are calling it a Ponzi scam and investment scheme? A Ponzi scheme and investment scam, pardon me. Can you prove that he was pulled into secret government projects when he was 8 years old? I guess not. That's why he thinks he's just going to use the word allegedly, and that gets him off the hook for essentially lying to people to sell them this shitty disclosure conference with the secret space clown in him. Oh, great. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Here's the blurb. And remember, they're advertising this to people who are going to pay $400. Chris Beskar was recruited into secret aerospace programs in 8th grade. Well, you didn't use the word allegedly here. As a result of submitting highly advanced aircraft designs to the U.S. military. Chris has said that by age 18, he had accomplished far more than any human being would normally hope to achieve while working within these programs. Although much of Chris's work remains classified, in 1993, that's when he started aerospace, this shady aerospace company, he broke out of the culture of secrecy and formed Stevati Aerospace so he could bring this tech out to humanity. Stevati Aerospace is now positioned to become a major supplier of next-generation technology to both the military and civilian worlds, drawing off of Chris's knowledge. The year 2024 should see many developments and breakthroughs for Stevati that will be shared with the public as more and more information becomes available. Great. Then, of course, we have James Gilliand, founder of ESETI Ranch, which is essentially... boy, I don't even know where to begin with this person. And, oh, look, we have Carissa Arias, founder of Soundlight Foundation and iFlow Studio, is an international holistic Jin Shun Jitsu energy medicine practitioner, sound healer, spiritual intuitive, and conscious alignment facilitator. Her healing practices and sound healing journeys reawaken cosmic, authentic intelligence within, inspire collective creative capabilities aligned in the heart-based consciousness, empower individuals to know thyself, and remind humanity of the power of love in order to assist in the transformation of personal and planetary evolution. Sounds like a big wackadoo to me. Carissa offers international Jin Shin Jitsu remote and in-person healing sessions. I got to look that up. Did anybody ever hear of that before? What the heck is Jin Shin Jitsu? It sounds like martial arts to me, right? I don't understand. So this is the quality of the people that you're going to get at this disclosure summit with David Wilcock. How stupid are the people that are paying $400 for this? Then we got Mike Wiskowski, who was a facilitator and helped Corey Goode and David Wilcock sell their fake secret space program garbage. And now he interviews the secret space clown Corey Goode on Corey Goode's YouTube channel and helps him run his shady website. Great. And then we have these two guys from Brazil. See, here's the problem. Nobody will work with Corey Goode. He has to go and get people nobody's ever heard of to work at his disclosure conference, right? They even have their new literary agency is coming in. I guess these people are going to publish their shitty books, right? She's going to be running a workshop for creators on Sunday morning, this person, Maria Corvisario. And I checked, this is a real company out of New York, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. And these two guys are guys that Corey Goode met in Brazil. Since he can't get American speakers that want their names associated with Corey Goode, I'm guessing, that's my speculation, he has to bring in people from Brazil to talk about aliens and UFOs. And of course, Mike Wiskowski is the ass licker that has worked for Corey Goode, helping him sell lies to people for years now. Great job, Mike Wiskowski. And of course, James Gillian. He's an international lecturer, minister, counselor, multiple near-death experiencer, songwriter, Anunnaki, Return Outback Gypsies, contactee, best-selling author of Reunion with Source, Becoming Gods, The Ultimate Soul Journey, and Anunnaki Return. He is the founder of ESETI Ranch, ESETI Stargate YouTube hosts, As You Wish Talk Radio on BBS, has appeared numerous times on Coast to Coast, where he was the first to do extremely successful global intention experiment for Contact. He also appeared on Midnight in the Desert, Jeff Rent's Fade to Black, and many others to document. He is the host of documentaries Contact Has Begun 1 and 2, The Uncontrolled Narrative. He has been featured in Ancient Aliens, Mount Adams, and John Vivancho, the History Channel, UFOs, Then and Now, Hotspots, ABC. Okay, we get it. He's been on a lot of media. He is the facilitator of many Eastern disciplines, a venerable Lama. What? Okay, so some kind of Lama bespelled the name Rinzin Norby on James, which translates to Jewel of Pure Awareness. And then, of course, we've got the original Secret Space Clown, who's described as the insider's insider, right? He's retaining many insider contacts after he admitted that he made up all of his stories in court. Corey was credited as the first to leak Defense Intelligence DIA documents verifying the Pentagon's UFO investigation unit disclosed in 2017. He forgets to tell you in his bio that he made up all of his secret space program stories for 8 years for cash. And now the grift is coming crashing down. And I'm here to tell you, you stupid people, if you're dumb enough to give these clowns $400, these people, especially Corey Good and David Wilcock, who we can demonstrate have been lying to people for at least 8 years about this secret space program. If you people are dumb enough to give them $400 in order that they can disclose something to you, why didn't they disclose it before? What new things do they have to disclose to you? They spent 8 years telling fairy tales on Gaia TV. Wouldn't they have run out of things to disclose by now? But no, give them another $400, you stupid people, and we're gonna disclose something to you. What are they disclosing? What are they disclosing that they haven't already? And as far as James Gilead, he claims that all these spaceships are flying over his ranch every day, but the best evidence he has is like grainy ass pictures that look like they were taken on a potato camera and videos of like dust orbs. That's the best that he has. And we have detailed Mr. Gilead's. He did have events at this ranch in which he basically is showing people satellites flying overhead and arguing with people that they're motherships. And you're not allowed to say that's a satellite, or he'll separate you from the group and tell you that you're ruining the experience for the rest of the group. Yeah, you're ruining it. So interestingly, so it costs $400 to attend this event in person. And then it's interesting. It costs $400 to hear. Look at this. We've got David Wilcock, who's been wrong about everything, right? He predicted we'd all have light bodies in the year 2000. Now he's predicting the very same thing. He predicted a global ascension event and a solar flash would take place in the year 2012, and we'd all get superpowers. We'd be able to telepathically communicate and levitate and all these things leading up to the year 2012. None of that happened. He's also a big Q-tard and thought all that stuff was real. None of that was real. Now he's telling people that the Archangel Michael is who he's in communication with to write books, told him to write these books and sell them to stupid people for $333, right? Because that's what an angel would do. Here's this super secret, sacred knowledge that I want to impart to mankind. But don't give it to the people. Sell it to them for $333. And then, of course, we've got the secret space clown who admitted under oath that he made up his stories and lied to everybody, essentially, or allegedly, for 8 or more years. And this is all just his intellectual property, his creation. Why would anybody think that these people are going to bring you any form of disclosure? Why would anybody pay $400 or, hey, for $111, you can get access. You could get live stream access. And hey, for $799, you could get VIP access. VIP includes front row seating with reserved special meet and greet with speakers on Saturday evening and possibly Friday. A VIP dinner is included on Saturday. It's only $800, right? It's only $800, friends. We've talked in great detail about how some of these guys are just narcissistic sociopaths, in my opinion. By the way, I'm not diagnosing anybody here. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but I did take some psychology courses, read a lot about psychology. The signs are there, but it is what it is. And their bloated sense of self-importance. How could David Wilcock, who has literally been wrong about everything he's ever predicted, how could he think that meeting him is worth $800 for a VIP ticket? You get to have dinner with David Wilcock and Corey Good for $800. Who could be this stupid to sign up when these guys have been provably caught lying to the consciousness community, the UFO community, and the world at large for some 8 years? Who would pay them more money, right? Is it like, it's like a, that thing with like dogs, like a dog is so stupid you could kick it and it'll still come right back to you. I think that these clowns have kicked enough people and stolen, in my view, it's my opinion, I'm entitled to it, they have stolen money from people for 8 years for completely and totally fake stories. And the fact that they face no consequences, we're just going to have a new disclosure conference after the stunning revelations that we lied to all of you for 8 years. Why would anybody give them money? I suppose there is this phenomenon that there is always new people coming into the sphere of influence. There's always new people who are searching for answers and seeking the truth, not realizing that many of these so-called truthers are nothing but lying, scamming, grifting scumbags who are deceiving people. These are deceivers. These are not people bringing you the truth. These are people bringing you a fake, false narrative for personal profit. And part of this path that we've been on is very frustrating because I think about the tremendous amount of effort and energy that we have put forward to educate people, specifically about these two. And, I just say, like, what else do I have to do to convince people that these people don't have any secret knowledge? These people don't have any, they all play that game. We've got secret knowledge and we'll sell it to you. We've got the answers. It's only $400 or $100 for a live stream or $800 if you want to have dinner. And think about the ridiculousness. These two guys lied to everybody about a secret space program for 8 years. Then David Wilcock hooks up with this guy and he lied to everybody about hover cars and sold them a course for $333 in which he claimed that this Christopher Beskar built secret spaceships for the secret space program. How is that not a form of fraud if you can't prove that Christopher Beskar ever built anything? He can't even build an airplane. And David Wilcock is telling people he's building secret spaceships for the secret space program. And he was in classified programs after 8th grade. How stupid do you have to be to believe that Christopher Beskar designed some aircraft in 8th grade and sent him to the military, and then they recruited him to classified secret space projects? I suppose we should never underestimate the stupidity of some people in conspiracy land, but it still does make me incredibly sad that despite the Herculean effort that we have put forth to educate people, to research their past claims and show you they keep lying over and over and over again and get caught lying over and over again, people are so desperate for, I guess, this stuff to be true that they're still willing to give their hard-earned money to these clowns. And let's be clear, that's what they are. If you've been running an airplane company for 20 years and you can't build a single airplane and show it to us, then you're a clown. And David Wilcock, despite all of your grandiose claims, I know you think you're someone important in the world. You are a shady scumbag grifter who is right now lying to people about being in contact with angels who want you to sell people secret, sacred knowledge from angels for $333. David Wilcock talks a lot about karma in some of his presentations. And it makes me wonder, David Wilcock, do you really believe in karma? Because if you do you understand the karmic debt that you owe for lying to people for decades of your life? How do your parents feel about what you do? Are they proud that you scam people for a living? Or do they know the extent to which you've scammed people? Convergence Pictures LLC, you took money for a film company and then you never created a film. Did those investors get their money back? What about your charity in which you collected over $200,000 and only gave a tiny portion of that money to charity and you spent the rest on yourself? Are you proud that that's what you've done with your life? You've collected hundreds of thousands of dollars in charitable donations, and then what did you spend? $6,000 on meals and entertainment out of your charitable donations, and you bought thousands of dollars worth of software and equipment for yourself. And isn't that a legal problem? Because you can't run a charity and buy equipment for the charity and then use that same equipment for your for-profit business. You wouldn't be using that software and equipment for your for-profit YouTube videos, would you? Maybe somebody should look into that, Mr. Wilcock. Mostly, this situation with these clowns still trying to, it makes me sad. And yes, David Wilcock has a significant following of really stupid people who, despite years of false predictions, despite years of false promises, despite years of getting caught selling completely and totally fake government insiders that he claimed were real, he still has a career. This is the only genre I've ever encountered in my life where there is absolutely positively no consequences for getting caught being a lying scumbag, right? I mean, think about any other profession. Even if you're a carpenter, right? If you're a carpenter and you rip off a customer and you lie to them, you have some consequences. And your business won't stay going long if you constantly just keep ripping people off and lying to people. But here in UFO land, there are no consequences. And the stupid idiots continue to make these clowns millions of dollars. And that makes me sad for the world that there's that many stupid people in the world. And they get to continue to victimize stupid people and live millionaires' lifestyles while those of us who have to work for a living have to continue to struggle, right? I guess they think they found a way out. Why work for a living? We've seen the work ethic of these two. Ooh, David Wilcock, he's been doing one stream a week lately, but that's only because he's incredibly desperate for money. David Wilcock is so desperate for money, he's actually getting on streams. But the point of his streams is simply to advertise for his $333 product or his $400 disclosure conference. And, that brings me to another point. It's a very tough economy out there. And I know that many, many people are struggling. Does David Wilcock not bear some? Does he have no conscience? Everybody's struggling, trying to get by. The economy's in the shitter. Inflation is out the wazoo. Our money's worth half of what it was, say, 5 years ago. And he's still charging people for lies. He's selling people literal lies. David Wilcock, I really hope that you can prove that Christopher Beskar was involved in classified projects after 8th grade. I hope you can prove that. And I hope you can prove that he built secret spaceships. Because if not, there may be some legal consequences for you advertising that he did. Do you know what false advertising is? You're not allowed to falsely advertise what you're selling, David Wilcock, in any state in the United States. You, genius of the millennium, a man who claims to have a 180 IQ, apparently did just that. Maybe we'll reach out to some people in that state and ask them how this is legal. Maybe we'll do that, Mr. Wilcock, because I guess maybe you and Stavati don't have enough legal problems. Now you want to add possible alleged consumer fraud to your list of legal problems. This is a stupid move on David Wilcock's part. The stupidest thing I've ever seen him done. He put false claims, completely and totally unproven false claims, right in writing in the advertisements for this shit show conference of his. Great. Good luck, David Wilcock. Best of luck to you. So I'm going to get off my soapbox now, but this David Wilcock really pisses me off. How much more money can he take from people for false claims? And where is any form of, consequences? And isn't there any authorities that will stand up to this blatant consumer fraud? They're literally telling people that one of our speakers went into classified projects for the United States military when he was in 8th grade. Well, you can prove that. I hope. He can't prove that. He'll never prove that, because I will go out on a limb here and say that is a completely and totally false claim. It's a lie. But hey, David Wilcock makes a living selling people lies. Why should this be any different? We're going to take a moment to thank a kind and generous benefactor in the form of Andrew Masonette with a kind and generous $5. Says, here's $5 to start a fund so we can all pitch in to buy you a front row seat and dinner and you can work them in person. That would be something else, Andrew. That would be something else. Could you imagine the look on David Wilcock and Corey Good's face when I sat down to dinner with them? Oh, that would be awesome. They wouldn't let me. I guarantee you they would throw me out. They would give me my money and they would give me a refund and throw me out, because they're intellectual weaklings and cowards. And they know that I here at this channel have caught them lying to people, scamming people over and over and over and over again. So they couldn't withstand any form of questions from me or debate with me, for certain. But thank you, Andrew Masonette, for your kindness, generosity, and support, and for helping us too.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Yeah, imagine that, David Wilcock. You could still make money telling people the truth. I sleep great at night. We don't lie to people here. We don't sell them false promises. We don't sell false narratives. Too bad you can't say the same, right? And doesn't that, no matter how much of a narcissist or sociopath you are, don't these people have any conscience whatsoever? They're just going to spend decades of their lives selling people these false promises and lies. It is great. Resofactor says, I'm still waiting for 2012. Yes. So David Wilcock's latest live stream, I have some notes here, and I got to be honest with you. First of all, I'm feeling a little under the weather still. I'm recovering, and so I'm not going through a 3.5 hour David Wilcock stream. That was his latest stream is 3.5 hours. I can't go through 3.5 hours of this clown. But we're going to go through some of it. And I do have some timestamps, which I found interesting. And essentially, now what David Wilcock is doing is he is scouring any spiritual text that he could find, especially ancient ones that will somehow, in his mind, co-sign and confirm the fake things that the fake angel he claims to be in contact with is telling him. And he's run out of Christian mythology. He's been using, things like the appearance of the Blessed Mary and other Christian mythologies, like, floating fathers. There was some claims of levitation by some of the saints. He's been going through forms of mythology, trying to make his arguments that his fake angels' prophecies are real. But apparently he's run out of Christian mythology to steal from, and I guess the law of one is no help. So now he is going into Hinduism and Zoroastrian material. and sacred texts in order to somehow convince people that his prophecies are real. And this is where David Wilcock's logic makes no sense. First of all, if these prophecies are real and they were already predicted in the Zoroastrian prophecies and in the Hindu prophecies, then why would the Archangel Michael have to come and tell him the same prophecies, tell David Wilcock the same prophecies if they were already prophesied by other spiritual texts? It makes no sense. But welcome to the wacky world of Wilcock. So we'll put our fair use banner up, and I am going to try to get through some of this at least. But I got to tell you, I'm losing my patience for David Wilcock's usual nonsense, which is essentially connecting the dots of a bunch of shit that is not connected. It's like he's got the Q-tard posts still towards the end of this stream with the Shadows of Ezra guy, who, by the way, doesn't know who he is or why he's using his posts to scam people in his live streams. We've shown you those screenshots. It's bizarre. And, you know, just a bunch of disconnected nonsense. He claims there's planetary climate change, which, by the way, I checked into. There's solar system-wide planetary climate change. You know, these things happen. Sometimes Mars becomes brighter. Sometimes it's darker. Sometimes there's increased, you know, activity on a different planet, not on Earth in our solar system. But David Wilcock is somehow jamming all that into, oh, there's this, everything's ramping up because these changes are taking place in our solar system. I'm here to tell you, David Wilcock, for claiming to have a 180 IQ, you're the dumbest man I know. Planets change. Things happen. It doesn't mean that your stupid prophecies are real. And you know, if his prophecies were real, couldn't he just show us and prove it? Like, okay, this prediction I made in the year 2010, and I copyrighted the prediction in a book, so we know it came from 2010. And in that, I predicted the October 7th event in Israel, or I predicted the Ukrainian-Russian war. It's never that clear cut. It's always like, well, if you add 7 and 7, that makes 14, and there's 7 days in the week. It's always some numerological, like, you know, and if we talk about the solar eclipse, and you know, it's always some wackadoo roundabout way to try to prove his predictions are real. Now, remember, here's where David Wilcock is going to fail again. He's claiming that we're all going to have open contact with aliens within the next year. He's claiming that. He's giving that hard limit. And, you know, the reason I think he's so bold, you know, like most psychic grifters know, don't give a hard date, because then that date's going to roll around and everybody's going to know you were full of shit. Not David Wilcock. He gives these dates. But the problem is, I think he's so bold because he's never had consequences. Shouldn't he have lost his career when all of his predictions about the year 2000 spectacularly failed? I would think so. Shouldn't he have lost his career when none of his 2012 predictions happened? I think so. Shouldn't he have lost his career when he was telling us that, you know, Donald Trump will definitely win the second election, and he didn't? You know, there's never been any form of consequences for Mr. Wilcock. So why shouldn't he just do big, bold lies again and claim that we're going to have open contact with extraterrestrials in the next year, by the way? So get ready for contact, open contact, friends, because in the next year, we're going to get open contact with extraterrestrials, according to David Wilcock. I didn't make the prediction. He did. I just think this is ridiculous, but we've got our fair use banner up. I've got some timestamps, so we're going to do this one a little differently. I'm not going through this whole 3.5 hour festival of bullshittery. You gotta give it to him, though. It does take some kind of talent, I would think, to just sit there and make up fake shit for 3.5 hours. And to his credit, yeah, I mean, he's got slides and some form of presentation, but it's all disconnected nonsense as is usual, right? I don't get it, but let's get into his stream. I don't know how much of this we're going to get through. Not much. I'm starting to lose my voice.
G'day, mate. It's Colin McGeezer here. I'm about to tell you the sun's going to blow up, but it's all going to be fine. So just don't even worry about it. It's not even a big deal, mate. It's just like a hiccup. Nothing really is going to happen.
He thinks this is funny. Anybody ever see any other spiritual guru do ridiculous, childish nonsense like this?
So just try to
haven't.
relax. Don't get all afraid about what you think is going to be happening or not going to be happening to the sun, mate. I'm just here to share messages of joy and good cheer and love and welcome everyone. That was my Colin McGeezer.
He claims that's one of his insiders,
off a
by the
little
way.
bit with some Colin McGeezer.
Another fake
Hope
insider.
You guys can hear me. It looks like you can. I have so many slides today that I don't even have time to brag about my sequined shoes.
Again with the sparkly shoes.
The camera here. I totally threw down for you guys, and I came out with sequins on my shoes. I also had to tie up the critics and tie up all the gambling pools on David Wilcock by doing a totally unprecedented move, wearing a clean shirt. First of all, that's pretty unprecedented. And then it's maroon colored. So,
wearing a clean shirt is unprecedented.
They're expecting, purple.
Maybe he doesn't have any clean shirts since his wife left him. I know I'd have. I gotta admit, if my wife left me, I'd have a little bit of a struggle learning to take care of myself again.
They're expecting maybe light blue, maybe gray, but maroon. Wow. So yes, I have stepped up once again. And I've decided to amplify the David Wilcock game, take it to the next level, go out into the jungle, hunt the wild beast, kill it, drag it back to the cave, covered in maroon. I mean, this is a manly color, you guys.
This is why his stupid streams take 3.5 hours, because he talks about nonsense so much.
And if I want to wear a maroon shirt, I don't expect to be criticized about it. Anyway, we got such a great show for you guys today.
I think your wife is
I had to
antidepressant.
meditate and think about what do I want to talk about? What's really exciting right now? And for me,
hi,
it's
Arlene.
this whole concept
Welcome.
of the multidimensional shift.
Cal Poly's here. Welcome.
Now, I've tried to explain that our solar system is undergoing a metamorphosis, and I've mostly shared ancient prophetic texts with you. They might be ancient from our perspective, but it turns out that there's beings out there who are not feeling.
Can't say I disagree with you. Self-licking ice cream cone.
Done these prophecies. We talked in a couple previous episodes. Let me get my hair even more funky here. Let's just add funk. You want more funk? Do you like that? Is that better for you? I would hope so. Let's just find out. Watching from North Minnesota, who's going to the Disclosure Summit? Love the color. It's perfect with your shoes. Thank you. You are the best. Any red or blue will really pop on screen. David,
you haven't been watching us here then, because we
smile,
show all the strangeness. It's the
Rebecca
wacky world of
Mercado
Wilcock.
David. Awesome color. Love it. Beantown, you're so silly. What up, people? Sammy says, please tell us, are med beds real? Well, yeah, I'm going to get into all this really cool stuff. And Dave, slow mode sucks. I don't know what slow mode is.
Welcome.
I'm not trying to be slow. I'm just trying to get going. And also, you guys really like it when I interact with you. So sometimes I just want to read some comments, and there's some pretty good stuff going on here.
Yeah, he doesn't read any of the comments calling him a scumbag, though.
You, says Melissa
Notice
Edwards.
that?
Ash says, David, you are hot. Well, thank you. Tarotina says,
what kind of an idiot woman is in his live chat telling him he's hot?
I'm listening to all the videos on your channel since 1 week. I just discovered you. Well, that's exactly what we want. In the traditional
he's
view,
covering up
you
his
look at
zits.
these ancient prophecies as if they happened a long time ago. But then I will tell you that maybe they didn't.
Sure does
maybe
love
they're
those
actually
multiple camera
happening
angles.
now,
Yes.
And maybe these entities
Gay
are going
look.
back in time.
Maybe, yeah.
And they're speaking about events that are
Guy at the end of the bar at 3 a.m.
So there seems to be a big surprise at the end of the 25,000-year cycle that these 35 different
not at all.
religious prophecies or spiritual
Not at
prophecies
all.
talk
Self-absorbed.
about. That was in Graham Hancock's epic book, Fingerprints of the Gods. In 1996, it came out. I got it right as it came out, 95. And it was so amazing.
I got to
because
say,
it
I
had
did
this
enjoy that book.
stuff in there about two historians, Santillana and Van de Schend, and they had found 35 ancient prophecies from all over the world that talked about a 25,000 year cycle, that there would be some sort of catastrophe at the end of the 25,000 years, and that there would also be some sort of massive...
Maybe that's where he got all this shit. He's been saying this stuff in the last 10 live streams, the 25,000 year cycle. I thought he stole that from Richard Hoagland, but he may indeed have stolen that from Graham Hancock. I wonder what Graham Hancock thinks of him using his material and claiming angels told him. And by the way, if it was already in a book of Graham Hancock, why does an angel need to come and give the same prophecies and information to David Wilcock and tell him to sell it to people for $333? Makes no sense. We want to thank Keith Gardeck, who, for two things, being a member and for a kind and generous $20 super chat. Thank you very much for your kindness, generosity, and support. Keith says the only way to combat this type of pure dog shite is to refute and loudly. That's why I love and support your channel. Well, thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Much appreciated for helping us to...
Raise the cash, raise the cash.
Yes, I don't need a multi-million-dollar mansion to live in, but we all need resources, so we appreciate every single person who sends some support our way. For those unaware, we read every single super chat, every PayPal pledge. We thank every person who becomes a YouTube channel member. We thank each and every one of you. Thank you, Keith Gardeck, for your kindness, generosity, and support. We're going to continue in the festival of bullshittery here.
Species evolution. Michael Rollins donated, says, David, I love your contentment. When are you going to do a deep dive on San Francisco's
I agree. Yeah, he recycles the same
Well,
shit over and over and over again.
It's
Prophecy for shitheads.
History, because what happens is
Yes,
we have
prophecy
a
for
whole
shitheads.
repressed history that we don't know about, where we look at these extraterrestrial contacts
That's
that
true.
gave birth to these 35 mythologies as if they were mythology. I even said mythology, right? But that's not what they are. They're
That's
just
funny,
written
Mr.
records
Ian.
of
Yeah, just charge 'em
extraterrestrial human
back.
contact. So when you start looking at things this way, you say to yourself, well, wait a minute. If somebody went around, as I've delineated in previous episodes, you can watch here for free on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/DavidWilcock333. Guys, we are so close to 500,000 subscribers.
No, I'm
It's
half
like
Irish and half
crazy.
Polish,
Please
Wingnuts.
subscribe. Please.
So I'm
because
half
I wanna
drunk
get
and
over
half
that line.
stupid.
It would be like, it's like having $500,000. Fake it till you make it, right? Let's just try to visualize.
Fake it till you
something
make
positive out
it.
of all this.
Fake it till you make it.
So anyway, what I'm trying to say
half a
is
million
that there
people
has been
signed up to
this
subscribe. By the way,
widespread tradition.
David Wilcock has been caught buying, I believe, both subscribers and live viewers. I don't believe that he has 500,000 subscribers that are real. I think that's botted out the wazoo. His latest live stream got something like 75,000 views, which would mean that 425,000 of his subscribers don't watch his new uploads, which doesn't make any sense. That is a way low, ratio for live subscribers to live views.
Ancient cultures about some type of solar flash. And the one that really gets into detail the most here is the Hindu version, which is
So he's
called
run out of
Satvardika.
Christian stuff to support his arguments.
And
Now
so
he's going
we
to use
have these
Hinduism.
prophecies from all over the world, but some of them are going to focus on certain dates as being more important than others. And
tell me a
the end of
dupa.
this 25,000
Wing
years
nuts.
is the most important date. Because this is when they're saying
I just told
that we're
Wingnuts
gonna
to
have
kiss my ass in
Satvardika,
Polish.
and that the sun is going to release this incredible amount of light and energy. Now, you're going to say to yourself, well, David, I don't even really believe that.
How much time is he going to waste talking about a solar flash that's never going to happen? Remember, he predicted solar flash events in the year 2012 didn't happen. Then he made up some excuse. Oh, it happened in the solar system next to us. It happened in another star system, our nearby neighbors. That's what false prophets do. They make excuses when their predictions fail.
I don't even really believe that the Hindus have that in their scripture. Can you prove it to me? Well, yes. That's
I
what
will
I'm gonna
never
do.
believe
So
it. I will
somebody who's
never
new and
believe it.
hasn't watched
Telmet,
this
thanks for
before,
being a member.
You're the one I made this for, because others of
Chuck
my
Bam,
audience
I don't
might
know
have
either.
heard some of these before. But
Honestly, I don't know either.
it's sort of like if you go see Pink Floyd, you're not expecting them to play entirely new music. You want to hear the Pink Floyd songs that you love. So I have my own sort of repertoire of music that I like to perform. And talking about solar flash is one of my favorite things, because
and he
the
wastes
Hindus have
hours
some
talking
very,
about
very
this, and it
fascinating
never happens.
references to it. There's appears to be humanoids who are blue who came here from somewhere else.
Can't say I
There's a
disagree with your
passage
account
in
of
the
Saint
Hindu
Germain.
Vedic
He's
scripture
becoming
known
the
as the Mahabharata,
conspiracy.
where Krishna is commenting on how nice the
Solar
earth looks
sneeze
as they come in from
nonsense.
space.
Yeah.
That's actually in those books. They talk about Vimanas. And in my Michael Prophecies 7 books, book 1 starts with a discussion about the
Interesting,
ancient
Keith Gardek.
Hindu
I agree with you. And he has mentioned, he has used the Quran. Keith Gardek, thanks for being a member, and a kind and generous $5 super chat says, oh my God, I would love for him to delve into Islamic mysticism. Oh my. Well, thanks for helping us to praise the cash. He actually has. He's using, in one of his recent streams, and we covered it, he's using things from the Quran to kind of push his angel nonsense. But thanks for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, we're going to continue here.
text, the Vaimanika Shastra. And the Vaimanika Shastra is a text that describes the use of a flying machine and how to build one. And there was a guy named Talpaid, and in 1895, he actually got this to work. He built it, and it did fly, but it was using a mercury implosion engine. Now, the mercury engine is very different than what we're normally expecting to see.
All right, I have to stop
because
him
the
here.
mercury engine used
Because he mentioned the Vaimanika Shastra, and he called it an ancient Vedic text. Do you recall that he called it an ancient text? That's not the case. No. The Vaimanika Shastra. So David Wilcock just straight lied to his followers on a public live stream. The Vaimanika Shastra is not an ancient text. It is a 20th century text in Sanskrit. It makes the claim that Vimana is mentioned in ancient Sanskrit epics were advanced aerodynamic flying vehicles. The existence of the text was revealed in 1952. He's telling people this is an ancient Vedic text that talks about flying saucers. It was a channeled book in 1952. He can't get even the most basic of facts right, this clown. He just lied to his entire audience. Oh, this is an ancient, the Vaimanika Shastra. We're going to back it up so we get the quote.
about the ancient Hindu text, the Vaimanika Shastra. And the Vaimanika.
All right, so right there, he calls it an ancient Hindu text. I don't know. Everybody in the live chat, am I wrong? Is a book that was first published in 1952 an ancient Hindu text, or did he get that completely and totally wrong? And by the way, the reason I know about this is, number one, because I have a Hindu friend, and he's from India. He's a Hindu, and I asked years ago. I asked him when I had seen David Wilcock tell this same lie on ancient aliens. I said to my friend, is that true that there's an ancient Hindu text and it talks about spinning mercury plasma and flying saucers? And he said, no, that's a complete and total lie. There was some wackadoo nut job in 1952 that channeled the book. And then people on ancient aliens and new age grifters and scammers claim it's an ancient Hindu text. It's not an ancient Hindu text. It was published in 1952, and it was channeled. Now, people can think what they want about channeled works. I realize that a lot of people, I know some people that are really heavily deep into the Urantia book, and they get some kind of benefit out of it. So I don't want to shit all over channeled books, but David Wilcock is completely and totally wrong here. He's lying to everyone on a public live stream, claiming that this book is an ancient Hindu text. It's not. It was published in 1952, David Wilcock, and it's largely considered by any real Hindu to be a work of fiction or fraud.
Vaimanika Shastra is a text that describes the use of a flying machine and how to build one. And there was a guy named Talpaid, and in 1895, he actually got this to work. He built it, and it did fly, but it was used.
That's another lie. How did he use a book He just said that somebody in 1898 used the book to get a machine to fly. How did he use a book that was published in 1952 in 1898? Was he also a time traveler, David Wilcock? This is, these are the amateur hour mistakes that David Wilcock makes. He just said that somebody in 1898 used the book to create a flying machine. The book wasn't published until 1952, David Wilcock, you dummy. Jesus.
Using a mercury implosion engine. Now, the mercury engine is very different than what we're normally expecting to see.
Yeah, and where have we heard the mercury spinning vortex before? Oh, yeah, the Nazi bell and many other stories, including the TR-3B story as well. People have used the idea of a mercury spinning plasma as a propulsion system for a UFO for decades. Nobody's ever built one that works. Nobody can demonstrate it, but it doesn't stop grifters from claiming all you got to do is get some mercury, put it in a spinning vortex, and it'll power your flying vehicle. If it was that simple, why didn't anybody recreate it so far?
The mercury engine uses electrified mercury that is then circulated through a turbine that emulates the shape of natural vortexes of water. And yes, this was discovered by Dr. Victor Schauberger.
Victor Schauberger is another conspiracy land story. Nobody can demonstrate any working technology from Victor Schauberger. His claims don't hold water.
He based it on his observations of trout and how they would levitate up these waterfalls.
Trout don't levitate, they swim, David.
And he wanted to know what was causing levitation because it didn't seem that gravity would be able to explain this. And sure enough, he found that there was levitating gravitational currents inside waterfalls, and the fish would do this funny dance that would sort of get them ready for anti-gravity. They'd go spinning around in circles in this really wild gyrating motion, like a toroidal shape.
All you got to do is spin around and you too can achieve anti-gravity. This is so stupid and childish. How dumb do you have to be to believe this, man?
And then that would somehow allow them to be able to go up this stream. So he duplicated the shape that the
levitating trout
would make in the water.
It's true, Talmud.
He built that into a turbine, and then he did it.
He built it in a turbine.
He created anti-gravity, but
he created anti-gravity, Talmud. It's real.
Better. Well, that all goes back to the Hindu
that works too,
of
Mr.
what's
Ian.
in the Vimana Shastra, this actual mercury vortex ion engine that Talpaid built in 1875, and by God, it levitated. They didn't know.
First he said he built it. Didn't he say he built it in 1898? Now he said he built it in 1875. And how do you build a machine out of a book that was published in 1952 in 1875? Are you also a time traveler, David Wilcock? Are you this stupid? You don't know that the Vimana Shastra was published in 1952, right? Great. Well, the book was never available until 1952. People later claimed that that it was written by somebody in 1866, but there's no proof of that because it wasn't published until the 1950s.
How to control it or steer it or anything. It was unpiloted. So it just kind of took off, and then it sort of blew up in the air like a typical balloon might do. If
that's called being a con man, a confidence man.
Balloon, and it was
he's very confident.
Tied on properly.
All confidence men are.
Everything falls out of the sky. That's what ended up happening.
You got to speak with authority so people believe you.
This is really fascinating because
he lies so much he forgets his own lies.
Used the direct engineering instructions in a Hindu ancient text.
It wasn't an ancient text.
Flying machine before the Wright brothers.
It was published in 1952.
India might actually have to get credit for the flying machine. Now, the Vimana that they describe in their Hindu religious scriptures, known as the Vedas, the Vedas talk about these flying craft that are incredible.
And that is true. Like the Bhagavad Gita does discuss that some of these gods fly around in flying machines. But the whole thing about the spinning mercury and all this nonsense came from a channel book in 1952. But people on Ancient Aliens and David Wilcock just conflate those two books, two entirely different books. One is an authoritative, real ancient spiritual text, and that would be the Bhagavad Gita. But this Vamanika Shastra was a channeled book from 1950s. How is he confusing those two things? It's convenient because if he can conflate those two, he can sell this lie to stupid people who don't do any research. Do you think many of the stupid people in David Wilcock's audience are looking up the Vamanika Shastra to see if he's telling them the truth? Of course not. They're just going on his authority. And somebody in the live chat mentioned he speaks with such authority. Yeah, that's called being a confidence man or con man. That's where the root of con man came from, confidence man. A man who speaks with such great confidence, he's very convincing. He speaks with authority while lying to you.
They fly through mountains. They fly through oceans. They don't
There's no
make any
evidence
noise
of any of
except
this.
for maybe a beautiful humming sound. They have weapons capability. All this stuff is widely reported in the Vedas.
Could be aliens or
So
sus.
we have what appears to be an extraterrestrial society. that
Sandra
came here.
McDonald wants Patty to get her
They have
other car.
blue-colored skin.
Thanks for
but they
being a
look
member.
human, and so that's why you see pictures of Krishna, and he's got cobalt blue skin. Like, whoa, what's that all about?
That's
Well,
mythology.
it's not just an artistic style. It has to do with him coming from a different planet of origin. And remember, NASA has already told us there's 40 billion with a B, 40 billion
Yeah.
Earth-like planets in our Milky Way galaxy alone. And when you start getting into the data that I've shared so many times in the past,
I agree,
in
Talmud.
my new Sacred Science of Michael course about DNA and how DNA is a geometric
This was
byproduct of
Sunday,
quantum
I think,
mechanics.
Anna Louisa. This past
Quantum
Sunday.
mechanics is built to make life. Quantum mechanics is built to make DNA molecules. The DNA molecule can assemble out of plain water
He's got a dog.
in this classic experiment by Dr. Luc Montagnier, where he takes a tube of water that has DNA in it and a tube of water that's just plain, and then he electrifies both of them for 18 hours with the 7 hertz
Resting rat
electromagnetic
face.
frequency. That's the
Here's
base
some more fake
frequency of Earth,
pseudoscience
7
for you.
hertz.
More fake
Zap these
pseudoscience.
2 tubes with that, and then for some reason, just using Earth's electromagnetic frequency, the tube over here that has the DNA in it, that stays the same, but this tube only had pure clean water. After 18 hours of just cooking it in 7 hertz electricity, that's it. This tube now has grown DNA in it. Hydrogen and oxygen is supposed to be all there is in water, H2O, maybe some trace minerals here and there, not too much. Distilled water was used anyway, so there's nothing in there but hydrogen and oxygen.
Yeah, it's called
How do you get
cross-contamination.
hydrogen and oxygen molecules to, if you will, alchemically recombine themselves to become DNA? Well, Dr. Luc Montagnier won the Nobel Prize for discovering the HIV molecule, and yet his work in this was totally shunned by Western scientists.
Because
Why?
it was fake
Because
science.
it creates a paradigm shift
It was
in which
pseudoscience.
we
It
now are
wasn't
living
real
in a
science,
biological
David Wilcock.
universe in which all of the fundamental laws of the universe are derived from geometry. This is my bigger perspective on it now.
You're right,
And
Wingnuts.
those geometric force fields will intelligently create life. And they begin with hydrogen and oxygen, the tinker toys they find in water molecules. They'll start rearranging those molecules, which we're taught
You
in
didn't miss
science.
very much of the
You know,
Watcher.
that's supposed to
But
be
that's what
impossible.
replay's
That
before.
can't happen. Well, it does. So we have to fix some of our scientific
Sandra McDonald, thanks for
assumptions.
being a member. You just made
And
me
another
crack
thing
up.
that I find equally important on all
Cat's
this is the
disgusted with David
concept that
Wilcock
not
'cause he's
only
a
does
dog
life
guy.
precipitate from the vacuum, if you will, from the quantum medium that we're all,
Yeah, got to use the word
emanating
quantum a
from.
lot. Quantum vacuum.
But life evolves based upon changes in the instructions
I agree,
from the
Garazi.
quantum
Yeah.
medium. Life evolves because the quantum medium
Yes.
tells it to.
Stormcrow
Because the
says,
quantum
I'm not
medium
buying it
changes
without a
the
slide.
geometry, and when you change the geometry, the life itself changes. Now, this was proven many, many different ways, as I've said before. My favorite one was from Dr. Peter Garyaev, a Russian scientist, who took salamander eggs.
Oh,
zapped
God, he's
them
going
with
to
a
tell the
laser
salamander
beam with a
egg
medical
story again.
The laser energy now has
This is fake
salamander DNA in it,
pseudoscience.
salamander photons. You take those salamander laser photons, You shoot them into another hermetically sealed container so no air can get in, no germs can get in. This one's got
good point,
frog
a
eggs
box
in
of
it.
monsters. Good point.
Then you let that
Contaminants.
cook for a while. And I have the laser right here. It's called LGN 303. Maybe I'll bring it out sometime. But I couldn't do it now. I'd have to, end the show and go back into the garage. It's up in the garage somewhere. But anyway, I bought the laser from Gary that does this trick. It has a transverse wave in it that goes alongside the longitudinal photons. And that's part of what makes it magic. That 90-degree angle cross in the beam is very important.
So that's great.
Anyway, when
he bought one of these lasers, so shouldn't he be able to turn frog eggs into salamander eggs live on his live stream? Wouldn't that be more convincing than just telling people this shit is real, demonstrating it? Why doesn't he go get the laser and show us the frog eggs turning into salamander eggs? He's used this fake pseudoscience story in at least 10 streams. He's never demonstrated it's real. He's never proved it's real, but that won't stop him from selling this bullshit as real science. It's fake science.
You take that laser, you shoot it through salamander eggs, you redirect them into frog eggs. It's the equivalent of what the sun can do, where it reprograms the frog DNA with new photons, new geometry, new information.
Oh, it's getting thick in here already.
And I talk about that in my Sacred Science of Micro.
Yes, the frogs are gay, Mr. Ian.
Incredible 11-hour dissertation on sacred geometry.
He keeps mentioning his course.
The universe that we can derive.
Got to pitch that course.
Principles taught to us by ancient and modern extraterrestrials. And the main principle is those frog eggs changed into salamanders. And all they had going in there was light.
I'm going to have to do a whole project on his fake frogs into salamander eggs story.
From salamander eggs.
You can't change one being to another with a laser beam.
And when they had children with other salamanders, their babies were salamanders. Nothing ever reverted back to a frog.
Yes, the sun reprograms frog DNA.
Absolutely no way to know that these salamanders
pew, frogs easy,
tell me.
Yes.
Out of the frog's body and then grew into a totally different species just like that. Now, for me, I like to combine these two things together.
A box of monsters.
Because when we look at what the ancient prophecies
this doesn't make any sense. If you're saying that this is true, like, you just shoot this special laser at frog eggs and they turn into salamander eggs. Wouldn't you get that thing out and win the Nobel Prize by being able to change whole species with just light? Wouldn't you get that thing out of your garage and demonstrate this live to your viewers? No, just get by on bullshit. You know why? Because it doesn't work. Because this is fake nonsense, David Wilcock. It's pseudoscience garbage that you're selling stupid people.
The Hindu prophecy of the solar flash, and we're looking at this, right? We're talking about Samvartika. And I'm just telling you that the sun
feed in the water,
might be able to do the same trick that we just did to the frog eggs. What if the sun is putting out human photons
of the rainbow
that make
frog
human
alliance
beings that look like us now, but the sun is also, according to my main core philosophical text I've been working with since 1996, January 96, it's called The Law of One. It was intuitively derived in 1981 by a group of 3 people who thought that they had made contact with an extraterrestrial.
I know, imagine that.
Very high
box of
level
monsters, yeah. Imagine telling people that, like, hey, I just took this course from David Wilcock, and did you know you could just shoot laser beams at frog eggs and turn them into salamanders? People go, you need a rubber room, dude. We got to get a straitjacket for you if you believe this shit.
Gives all these weird secret hints that it's Christian throughout all 5 books. And then in my case,
Cal Poly, thanks for being a member. Says, imagine believing this.
96 as well. Through 2000 is when the main
previously known
happened,
as the photon belt
and
of
it
the
called
90s.
itself Archangel Michael. And a couple of years ago, I started reading
Mark
these again, and
thanks for being a member.
Every single line is predicting stuff that's going on now. So I've now written 7 books. I spent 2 years doing this.
7 books of bullshit.
Material
Here's the pitch.
1996 through 2000.
Buy my shit.
Archangel Michael said through me. Now, I wasn't even excited about it being Archangel Michael. I hid this for a long time. I didn't talk about it. You get trolled really heavily online if you start saying that you channeled some higher angelic consciousness. But I followed the laws of remote viewing, which are supposed to create 99% accuracy.
I agree.
You don't analyze anything. You get to the mind awake, body asleep phase. Light as a feather.
How many
stick as a
religions
dwarf.
has he hit on so far?
You
2,
don't have
I
any
think.
analysis of what's coming through. You don't have any
Well,
emotional
3
reaction
if you
to
count
what's
the law
coming
of
through.
one
You don't
as a
eat any-
religion.
You don't need
And
to
a lot
eat
of people
anything.
do.
You don't need to go to the bathroom. You're very relaxed. The main thing is you do not analyze, and you train yourself to understand, hey, you know what? If
I
I
agree,
get my
Anthony
mind really
Peterson.
quiet,
Absolutely, I
certain
agree.
thoughts arise spontaneously. I don't have to work on them. They just show up. Certain words arise spontaneously. I can just grab them. But it's very, very difficult to do this because if you do it consciously,
He's
your mind
serious
wants
because
to
he's
hook
wearing
onto the
sparkly
words
shoes. Definitely
and
out
say,
the right.
"Oh, I understand."
The
what's
sparkly
being
shoes
said,
help
and I
sell
wanna
the
track where
bullshit.
This is
They're
going. And
bullshit
then your mind will want to add
facilitating
things.
sparkly shoes.
So I got in a lot of trouble with Archangel Michael early along
Such an pee
because
bath in
occasionally I
remote
would add
use.
things. And the main thing I was adding was all this Art Bell fear porn from the year 1998 mostly, where I was worried that California was going to sink into the ocean in 1998 because Edgar Cayce had a prophecy
What's a
that
shik's
said
head,
that was going to happen.
Matt
It
Finley?
didn't take place. However, it could have.
Syphilitic pustules. What
We
the hell is
definitely
that? I
dodged
gotta
the
look
bullet
that
in
up.
1998.
Syphilitic
And according to
pustules.
Archangel Michael, when he was speaking through me, if our collective civilization had decided to go after Bill Clinton and hate him for who he was, because there was a Monica Lewinsky thing going on at the time, there was another one with Paula Anderson. Okay, so if people had judged him, condemned him, said that they want to see him tortured or whatever, if that had been the mass opinion, then apparently we would have had a pole shift in 1998 and we would have just been all flushed into the ocean. And then that would have been, according to the Casey readings, when you have the second coming of Christ.
Ew, that's
they
gross.
talked about 1998
Syphilis,
as a pole shift
pimples.
and the second coming.
Gross.
Whatever that event is interpreted to mean, which again, in the Casey tradition, the Christ has a very specific meaning. The Christ is the consciousness of the universe.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that.
Apparently, Jesus.
Because for a time he was working with Falun Gong clowns. They had a YouTube channel called Edge of Wonder, and they were being funded by the Falun Gong Chinese cult, and they were heavily pushing David Wilcock bullshit. So it's funny that you mentioned that. Could be.
Jesus made contact with that and actually became an embodiment of the
Cocaine
consciousness
rots
of our
the brain.
galaxy, according to the law of one. They
Alien
call that the
susses,
logos.
cocaine rots the brain.
Jesus became a logoic incarnation, the incarnation of God the Son, which is our galactic consciousness that apparently has patterned all planets.
I did
all
look it
4
up,
billion
Matt Finley.
Earth-like
That's
planets in
gross.
Our galaxy are patterned to have human-looking beings. According to the law of one, individual stars have
I agree,
personality
Richard
over
Moore,
how
yeah.
those beings look. So in some civilizations, they have insectoid beings. In some of them, they have reptilians.
Earth changes,
In
yes.
some of them, they have aquatic mer people, believe it or not, oceanic planets where there really is no surface crust.
Yeah, well, he
There's
says
lots and lots of different
98%
ways that
of
life
boxing
can
monsters.
form.
He gets everything like that wrong.
And it always is going to take a biome that looks fairly similar to what we have on Earth. And then some creatures within that biome are going
David
to evolve
Wilcox.
into an intelligent hominid
Belching
form where
session
it has
going
eyes,
wrong.
nose, mouth, ears, a head, 2 arms, 2 legs usually. Some cases with the insects, they're not doing that. But mostly this is where it goes. But again, the individual
Yeah, he
star
did.
could
He
choose
did,
to make their skin color
Garazi.
blue,
I fell
or
for it.
green, or
I'm
yellow,
like, what's that mean?
or pink,
Oh,
or orange. And all these
syphilitic
colors apparently exist.
pus
White,
sores.
stark gray, all these things exist. But there's a surprising
Second coming of Christ
similarity in
was
how human
prevented,
people
yes.
look. And when you try to figure out why is it that all of the different insiders, every reputable insider I've ever spoken to has said, yeah, you know what? Everybody looks human.
He just said every reputable insider he's ever spoken to. What reputable insider? Do you mean like Bill Brockbrader? You used him. He was a court-martial child molester. Do you mean Pete Peterson, the fake con artist that you claimed was a government insider? Do you mean Corey Good, the secret space clown? What insiders are you talking to, David Wilcock? Insiders would not talk to you because you're a new age scammer clown.
Answer is photons.
Real
have the
insiders would
human
not speak to
blueprint
David
in them
Wilcock.
because that's the mind of Christ. God made man in his image. Well, the word God is actually translated as logos.
Yeah, you're correct, Anna Louisa.
The logos, the galactic logos, made humans in its image.
reputable
So even though the
insider,
Logos
the
has
guy who
a
plows his
galaxy,
driveway.
and then there's all these stars, and the
Yes.
stars have planets, where the rubber meets the road is on the surface of those planets. You have a biome with all these different forms of life, and there's intelligent photons that come out of that sun that program life to evolve a certain way, just like you can program frog eggs to evolve into salamander eggs.
No, you can't. And no, solar photons cannot reprogram DNA, David Wilcock. That's fake science. You know, like I feel like Trump that says that's fake news, because I could go through this whole stream and just every once in a while say that's fake science. This is totally fake science that you're pushing on people, David Wilcock. Are you proud of yourself that you're pushing completely and totally fake, nonsensical pseudoscience and pretending it's real? Are you proud of yourself? Because that's what you're doing here, you dummy.
All right. Now, at the end of 25,000 years, our sun in third density goes through this big solar flash, which again, the Hindus call Samvartaka. There's how you spell the word. It also is sometimes spelled Samvarta. You can get rid of the AK at the end of the word there. Just cut that out and you'll see that as well.
Not the
now, I'm about
AK.
to show you all this, but I'm setting it up for you so you understand why this is important. If extraterrestrials are all
God's
evil,
like, I didn't make
it's
this.
because of this science where individual
Wicked stream
stars
of
are putting out
consciousness
photons
BS.
that make human bodies based on, according to the law of one, the sun, any given star has to invest in a particular form of life. So many of our
This is
planets
some
in our
Heaven's
solar
Gate cult
system,
shit
in our
right
galaxy,
here. Yeah.
they're going to have hominid life. They're going to use apes, monkeys, that type of a life form to grow into human, but that isn't always what happens. There are apparently
Where the rubber
people who
room
evolve
meets
out
the
of cats
road.
more directly, out of
Meets
dogs
the
more
toad.
directly. Anything and everything you can imagine, I've had various insiders tell me about. So it's a very fascinating subject.
He's had
because
insiders
we are
tell
right
him.
around the corner from getting
Insiders
to meet
like
our
a fake
galactic
secret
family.
space
And you
clown
wonder
that
where
you
these
lied with
UFOs
for
are
8
coming
years,
from.
David Wilcock.
I believe that we have a very, very populated galaxy. And
Yep.
when you understand that
He always
frog
gives you
eggs
some
can
little
be
bit of truth
transformed
and then he
energetically
piles
into
bullshit on
salamander
top of
eggs
it.
by nothing more than photons, that really adds a
Yes,
whole
definitely,
new layer
Richard
of
Moore.
texture to the discussion. Because
whole
the
new level of
reason all
bullshit,
these
you
ETs
mean.
look human could be that this is the mind of Christ. This is the body of Christ. This is what it did in our galaxy as the Logos.
All these,
Nobody's
this doesn't even make sense because he has talked about reptilian aliens, gray aliens. Do those look human to you? Now he's saying all the aliens look human. He can't even keep his own lies straight, right? Just makes no sense.
Even talking, you guys are so blown away. Nobody's writing any comments. I'm like, did it stop or what's going on? I guess that's good, right? If everybody's in such a state of awe,
Look at the back of my
nobody's writing any
head.
comments. That's good. It's going really slow right now.
Can't work cameras.
Just be
Keep
yourself,
showing
David,
everybody
you're
the back of
amazing.
my head.
Okay, great. I'll just keep doing that. So my point in telling you all this is if the human design is a galactic Christ template.
It is
and that's just a term
impressive, says Matt
Christians use,
Finley,
but
in
it
its
could be called
utter
Allah,
lunacy or
it could be called
audacity.
Buddha,
Wild. Mental
could be
Ward
called
Insiders
Tao.
says, tell me. That's where he
Different
gets his
religions
insiders
appear to
from.
be
He
contacted
goes
by
to
these
mental
extraterrestrials who
institutions
all know
and
the
gets
same
new
stuff,
insiders and new
and they just
briefings.
try different ways of teaching it to us. But the one thing they agreed on in 35 different ancient cultures, hey, you guys are going to have a solar flash, and you're going to evolve into some new form of life as this happens. The big addition that I got through the Michael prophecies, as I've said in many previous shows now,
I agree.
is that apparently we are not going to have the pole shift catastrophe part. We're going to go through a non-catastrophic evolutionary event here on Earth. And Michael has asserted, he did this back in the late 1990s, that COVID, he describes COVID in so much detail, he even has the word itself put in various coded forms throughout the books.
Oh, it's in coded forms. Why is it in coded forms? Why couldn't he just call it what it was if he's truly a divine source and giving you secret and sacred knowledge? Why did he have to encode it? And previously, David Wilcock was predicting these catastrophic Earth changes, and now all of a sudden it's a non-catastrophic event. So complete and total 180, since all of his catastrophic Earth changes predictions all failed miserably. Now we're going to have a non-catastrophic. So stupid.
All the stuff that happened with inoculations, it's a very curious thing that Archangel Michael in these books dated. He said, you know, the real end of the Mayan calendar is actually December 26th,
Yeah,
2020.
could be Kevin O'Brien.
It got moved ahead from 2012 to December 26, 2020. Why that day? Well, that's the day that you have Jupiter and Saturn conjoining, and the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction happens on December 26, 2020. That's where the two planets are in the same place in the sky.
Bob Lazar was the last
And this
mistake.
has
Anyone
very,
who
very
knows anything
interesting
about anything, you are
multidimensional
handled.
effects.
No more leaks.
When you understand that these two
Well,
planets are
I
much
think Bob
larger than
Lazar is
all the
full
other
of shit
planets
too, a
combined.
box of monsters.
And when they come together, because of the geometry and these energetic fields that we've now discovered, a
New
Jupiter-Saturn
briefings.
conjunction
Ha
has a
ha.
very interesting effect on biological life and consciousness. Again, if biological life can be formed and changed by photons,
That
and
I
you can
agree with the
change
box of
frog
monsters.
eggs into salamander eggs
You
using
can't
photons,
change frog eggs into salamander
what's
eggs using
happening?
photons.
as the solar system is going through this charge up, well, our DNA is changing. And according to the law of one and many other spiritual traditions, including the ancient ones, this change is an elective process. You get to decide how much you're going to grow. But there is going to be an absolute time where there will be this Samvarta solar flash. And it says in the scriptures that the solar flash occurs after we have hit our worst point. There are 12 direct references to Samvartika in the Hindu scriptures. And the way I found this is by going to Google and then you type in site : and then the website, and that constrains your search to a particular website. So if you don't want to go through all this hassle of looking for everything, and I know, okay, well, sacredtext.com has all the Hindu religious texts published on it. At least it's got the Mahabharata and some of the other Vedas, so that's enough. So just within the scope of what's in sacred texts, I can type cite sacred texts, and then the word that I want to see before then. I just had a donation come in from Daisy Alvin Fred. Thank you. Why didn't anything happen after the eclipse? We are going to get to that. We dodged a bullet, folks. The deep state really wanted something to happen. The alliance was warning us, and it thankfully did not occur. So I do not for a minute think that we should be like, oh, they lied to us. No, no, no. We are very, very
you did
lucky.
lie.
I'm
to
very
everybody.
glad we have more time. But we'll get to that a little later. So
Yes, my
this
DNA is
how I did
changing
it.
too.
I went into
I'm
Google and
getting hit
noticed
with
I got,
photons, Cal
12
Poly.
pages of results.
I'm going to turn
That's
into a
lot for some
salamander,
particle,
apparently.
Okay. So sure enough, well, actually 12 individual results.
Something.
So what
I don't
that
know,
means is
tell
when
me.
I typed in the word Samvartika, I got 12 hits out of the Hindu scriptures, and I just published the first two.
Bakuni exist. Oh no.
As I just said, you can shorten it to Samvarta, and then you get 31 more references that you find.
Yeah,
in the
could you
Hindu
imagine
scriptures. So
telling
it's
your friends
adding
and
up
family
fast.
this shit?
12
They'd all
plus
be like,
31, you're
they'd
already up
block
to
you up.
33.
You'd be 302.
It also
Storm Crow.
translates in Buddhism as Samvata fire. So because Buddhism is derived off of Hinduism, you can go into the Buddhist tradition and they have Samvata. But the Samvata fire Samvata seems to be different in Buddhism than Hinduism. And I think there might have been a little bit of interference on the channel there because they talk about how Samvata has something to do
It's
with
difficult
like,
to type with these web
it's only
tans.
gonna
I know.
happen
We're
once
all
in
turning
so
into
many,
salamanders
many
because
years.
it's all real.
So
It's all
there was
true.
a little bit of loss in translation there. So I'm going to stick with the Hindu because these texts, some people believe, many scholars believe, they're 18,000 years old. They survived the Atlantean catastrophe. And this time in which the Hindus had Krishna and these other blue-skinned humans living among us, that time actually goes back to the same time of before Atlantis. And there were two warring civilizations. There was Rama and there was Atlantis. And they're both fighting each other. And so this is very, very fascinating that there was because the Edgar Cayce readings described a civilization they called Rama that had a nuclear war with a civilization they called Atlantis, which led to
Oh my God.
a cataclysm.
Now he's telling everybody there was a nuclear war.
And another big secret, if you
ancient
haven't heard
history.
this before, is that
It's
Antarctica is Atlantis.
Antarctica's
Atlantis used to
now.
be in a warm area, and then this nuclear war caused us to have a pole shift, and it sank to the bottom.
He becomes
Atlantis
a
sank to the bottom,
werefrog.
became Antarctica. The floodwaters.
Next
the
up,
flooding of
tarot
Atlantis
cards.
quickly froze
Yes.
and turned into permafrost.
He seems to
and
have a
ice.
tanning bed, says Archaic Revival.
So this appears to be what we're actually dealing with.
Limited nuclear
And,
exchange,
they're
Cal
all
Poly.
saying, though,
Yes.
despite whatever happened 12,000 years ago, the one thing everybody's really looking out for is this Samvartaka fire. Everything changes again if you discover Yuga fire.
Oh, everything's going to
Two more
change.
donations. Lori Lee, thank you. YAS, thank you.
Yeah, he's
I'm not going to
really
catch them all, or I'm never
begging
gonna be
for
able to get
the
through all these slides.
donations, isn't
Thank
he?
you so
I
much
told
for
you
the
he's
donations.
desperate
I
for
love it.
money.
I do need the money, so
I do need the
it's
money.
awesome that you're donating. I need like $2,000 total to get through the end of the month. We might even get that today, so I really appreciate it.
He needs $2,000 to get to the end of the month, he just said, as he's living in a multi-million-dollar mansion. Hey, David, what happened to the $200,000 you collected for charity? Right? What did you do with that money? What happened to the millions of dollars that Corey Good said you made on your last course, the anti-gravity one? What did you do with all your, how are you blowing through all this money that you need to, he needs $2,000. In a previous stream, friends, he told people that he needed money for groceries. And so people started sending them super chats. It's getting grifty up in this bitch.
Anyway, so everything changes once you discover the term Yuga fire, because whoa, now we got 187.
Yeah, that is
hits
interesting.
in the Mahabharata for Yuga
Probably doesn't
fire,
want to get
and it's the
murdered
same
by
thing.
somebody.
Okay, 187 different hits, but then I went through all of them, and approximately 65 do not actually put the words Yuga and fire together.
Yoga
That
flame.
still leaves us another
Yes.
122 references about a fire at the end of the Yuga. And again, the Yuga fire is coming out of the sun. So again, we have a total of 187 different references that I was able to find just off of what's on Sacred Text. More donations flying in. Thank you, Daisy, Alvin, Fred, and Brian.
Rune stick,
For a
tea
total of
leaves, coffee
157
grounds.
references.
What is
31
he
for
getting
Samvartaka,
to?
4 for Samvarta, 122 for
I'm
Yuga
lost.
fire.
I'm lost. I don't know what he's trying
So
to.
this is very, very interesting.
No, it's not. It's
157 different
confusing.
references means this is a very frequently discussed subject that these people
You
consider a
can't pawn
fact.
frogs. Yes.
They came here from somewhere else. They have blue skin. And what are they doing? They're fighting against another race that they call
Self-care lotion.
Rakshasas or snakes. And these Rakshasas and snakes clearly appear to be humanoid reptilians. And even in
Yes,
India,
Mr.
you have
Ian, use
these
big
Naga
words to
temples,
sound
and the
clever.
Nagas are reptilian humanoid beings that are often depicted as having snake tails below where the legs would be.
Oh, they have snake tails.
Nagas, Nagas. Go look that up.
Yeah,
There's
it's
still Naga temples
called
today
mythology.
that show reptilian humanoids out there in India. So like reptilians, blue-skinned humans. Yeah, it was an extraterrestrial society, but prior to the fall of Atlantis, Earth was widely colonized by extraterrestrials. We had very advanced technologies, and I've heard this now from multiple insiders that Afghanistan and Iraq, that the U.S. military went in there and they dug up very advanced spaceships and very advanced technologies under the earth in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Oh, yeah, it had nothing to do with the oil. We went there to get the spaceships, you asshole. Oh, my God, what an asshole this guy is.
And when we went in there, when the U.S. went in there in these wars, they seized all these parts, and there's been an ongoing reverse engineering effort being made.
I agree, Mark Toronto. Thanks for being a member.
So what I've
The who's
also
who of
heard is
master
the entire
grifters,
Sahara Desert
yes.
from west to east, which is the top third of Africa. It's all dry and yellow looking. It's very kind of bland and
I agree,
uninspiring.
Glenn Firth.
That used
He's
to
just
be a
trying to
fertile
suck up
crescent
super
prior
chats
about
to survive, I
50,000
guess.
years ago, 55,000 years ago, and there was some type of major catastrophe.
Yep,
which again
suckers
was one of
just
these
throwing
wars
money
of
at him. Poor lost
extraterrestrials,
souls.
where there was a whole civilization there in the top
Can you
third of
imagine?
Africa that all
Like,
got
this
wiped
guy's
out.
making a lot of sense.
You
I'm
go
going to give
40
him
to
some
400
money.
feet below the surface. You dig down through the sand.
You
you're
gotta
gonna
be an
find
idiot to
all
give
these
this guy
megalithic
money
ancient ruins.
for this
And
level
one
of
the things that Uncle
bullshit.
Jack told me, in the guy who was the Rothschild whistleblower, was that there are statues of
Yeah.
people with African features. They have larger lips than a Caucasian. They have broader noses than a Caucasian. And there's major, big statues of that. And so these
a little
guys
racist.
in the DS are
Oh, there's these
essentially
statues of
not
black
very
people with big lips and
friendly.
big
They have this
noses.
superiority issue,
Not
which I don't
offensive
agree
at
with
all, Mr. Spirit
And that's one of the
Guru,
reasons why they haven't
spiritual
let us
guru.
find out that there's these massive statues of black people that are very amazing, hiding underneath the sand in Africa, all over the place. But if you want to find them, if you want to find similar stuff, they were not able to hide it in Mesoamerica. They found the same kind of architecture in the buried stone heads. So if you go look up the Olmec stone heads, These weird, large stone heads. They look like they're Africans. Well, there's a lot more of that stuff over under the sand in Africa. And so what they also have found is that this was a very technological civilization. According to Uncle Jack, they ate their food out of materializers. They were not growing crops. They had to go backwards in technology to teach people how to grow crops after this catastrophe happened, because they had 3D printed food. And you could get the most delicious meal you could ever want. You don't ever have to worry about it. You hit the button, it comes out perfectly every time. They had that type of technology. They had levitation technology. They had spiritual technology where your
there's no
mind
evidence
interfaces
of
with
any
the
of this.
machine.
There's no, it's just making stuff up. Like, come on, dude. You can't just say things are facts because you want them to be true. You have to provide some, at least, where's the fucking slide? I'm not buying this shit without a slide to prove it's real.
Pete Peterson told me about one of
Pete
the
Peterson,
they found a sarcophagus,
the con artist
in Egypt, which is one of these areas in Africa.
The con
where you dig
artist
down
told
and
me
you
this
find these
story.
ancient ruins. They found a sarcophagus, and nobody could figure out how to open it. And then it turned out that if you put
Must
your
have been
hands
quite a
on it
bong
and you
hit,
started singing a
Brett
certain
Clark.
way in a
Yeah.
certain frequency, that it would become something you could read. You could read the hieroglyphics. This is a technology.
Repeating
Read the
Graham Hancock
hieroglyphics,
while having open
and then it
brain
will tell you
surgery.
what to sing.
Oh my
And if
God.
you sing that phrase,
You
it
got to
opens
sing over the
chest. And they
sarcophagus
did
to
get this
open the
work,
chest.
apparently,
The
and they
con
found a
artist
bunch of
told him
strange,
this. A con
really
artist
amazing
told him this. He's
extraterrestrial-looking
repeating it
tools
as a
inside the
true
sarcophagus,
story, you
including,
dumbass.
like handheld little toys, and they didn't even
Thanks
know
for
what the
watching
handheld
Star Trek
devices could
again.
do.
Yes.
It interfaces with your technology, with your mind somehow, and they don't really know how to run these. But again, he basically sang the sarcophagus open, and now it's
A
probably
con
sitting
artist
somewhere
sang a
in Area
sarcophagus
51,
open. Yeah.
hiding in a warehouse. There's so many things that we're not even looking at, and we need more people. We need to get the truth out. We need to get workers on this stuff. We need to have people singing on the sarcophagi or other ruins.
I
and
volunteer.
find out
I'll
what it does.
sing on the coffins to
Okay,
open them
so
bitches.
These
all right?
people that came here from
I'll
another
take
place,
one for the team if that's what it takes. Remember, I sang in rock bands and goth bands, industrial bands. I could sing a coffin open. If a con artist, Pete Peterson, could do it, then I could do it. I'll sing them bitches open, David Wilcock. I volunteer.
wrote texts, and even though their
All I got to do to
civilization
open the
died off,
coffins is sing over
one
them.
of the things we have left behind from them is the Mahabharata and other Hindu texts. Those were written while they were here, and they had this high technology. We just don't understand what we're reading. So
They were written
they
in the
always talk
1950s.
about the Satya Yuga as the end of this whole process. After the 25,000 years, this is what we're going to get. The Satya Yuga is, according to
Yeah,
Hindu
maybe you're
belief,
right
a
about
golden age
monsters.
of righteousness, free of sin, marked by longevity, physical strength, beauty, and stature. There were giants in those days whose moral, mental, and physical strength enabled them to undergo long brahmacharya, continence, and tapas, or austerities. Longevity permitted lengthy spiritual exercises.
I'll have to give that a try.
Life then depended on the marrow and lasted a certain cycle or lock of years.
Yes, he means pee,
people would
and
die
by
when they
sarcophagus,
decided
he
they
means
were
bath.
ready.
It's a piss bath. Yes.
Their stature was apparently 21 cubits.
Oh, now he's
Well,
going to talk about giants.
So the Hindu scriptures talk about giants.
Yeah, it's
and that's
called
something
myths.
We also see
It's
over here.
mythology.
It's a fascinating
David Wilcock,
crossover. The Satya
where's
Yuga
Spinal Tap when you need
is
them?
the goal of where we want to go. This is the concept of
Hey,
ascension.
ML, welcome.
After
Thanks for
the
being here.
25,000 years,
Thanks for
the
being a
sun
member,
does its
too.
thing, which now we're learning is not going to be catastrophic, at least not at first. And it won't go catastrophically until all of us are ready for that to
We're
happen.
having a
Which
non-catastrophic
could take another
apocalypse,
100, 700
ML,
years, according to law of one.
just so you know.
Right for now, we're going to get what Michael, in my books, has called a first wave of ascension. This happens in 2025. We're gonna go into
2025.
way more detail.
Ascension is happening in 2025. What's he going to say when Ascension doesn't happen in 2025? What are you going to say, David Wilcock, when Ascension doesn't happen in 2025? Again, giving these hard dates, right? He's saying we're going to meet the Space Galactic Brothers in the next year, and we're going to have the Ascension in 2025, according to the Archangel Michael. What are you going to say when all of these predictions are revealed to be fake, David Wilcock, like all your other fucking fake predictions from 2000 and 2012? You haven't gotten one prediction right in your entire grifting career. I know Brand new fake psychics that are just a year into the grift that could get some hits, but you can't.
This coming weekend in Loveland, Colorado.
Oh, now he's
at
going to
the
pitch the
Marriott
disclosure
Hotel,
conference.
Best Western, I forget which one, but
Best
we're out
Western.
there in Loveland.
Yeah, he's going to be appearing at the
Doing
Best
a conference. It's
Western.
the first one I've done since before COVID that was scheduled. I impromptu walked in on Corey Good's event in 2021, I believe, or 2020, and nobody was wearing masks. It was right during COVID. It was kind of amazing. But this is the first one I've actually showed up for where I said I'm going to do it. I'm probably going to do more in the future, but I've been very, very busy. We've had some incredible, incredible news. I have probably 2 different deals that I'm expecting for our company, Stavati Aerospace, to come in this week.
No, he's not getting any deals. Nobody is doing business with a company, a shady aerospace company that's being sued by all their creditors and that is being sued by investors calling it a Ponzi scheme and investment scam. Nobody's doing business with you. There will be no contracts, David Wilcock. You can keep pretending to your stupid audience, but nobody wants to do business with somebody that's being sued and accused of running a Ponzi scheme, David Wilcock.
So all the worries I have about taxes, I'm not worried about it at all. I'm going to be able to pay it. It's going to be fine. I just haven't quite gotten there yet. So your super chats are very much appreciated. It's going to be this week, I think.
Yeah, and again, apparently David Wilcock has claimed that he owes $1.5 million in income taxes. And he wants super chats from stupid people to pay the taxes that he never paid. Talk about a selfish prick, right? What happened to the money? What happened to all that money that you made? Why didn't you pay your taxes back when they were due, like a responsible business owner?
I think it's going to be this week. Anyway, it's very, very close at hand.
He's going to pay $1.5 million in
It's
taxes
going to
this
make
week.
my life so much better. But until it
Circle
happens,
jerking
I'm
with
on the edge
angels.
of my seat, and it's still white knuckle, and it's like, oh my god, I got to.
Dizzy Blonde is here. Welcome, Dizzy Blonde.
Yeah, I want to start doing shows whether I feel good or not. You know, if I'm not in the best mood, actually, honestly, doing this show now, I feel a lot better than I did before. I'm really enjoying talking about giants and Satya Yuga, Ascension, because this is, according to the law of one, it's going to be 100 times happier than what life on Earth is like now. You have a much, much greater ability to appreciate yourself, to appreciate your past lives, to appreciate your connection to the
that's
universe.
how I feel about monsters.
You're not wondering if you're alone
worth
in
the
the
risk.
universe. You're aware that you are surrounded by and made by a living power that
The
intelligently
dumpster
creates
companies.
matter
Yeah, maybe he's getting
nothing,
new
and
dumpster
intelligently
company
creates life out of
contracts.
nothing. And you, according to the law of one,
For those unaware, David Wilcock's only income for his shady aerospace company, a garbage company, is renting their airplane hangar to store dumpsters in. That's his shady aerospace company's only income, right? You talk about all this high technology and how they're going to invent jets and hover cars and free energy. No, they're renting their airplane hangar to a garbage dumpster. That's their only source of income.
are a creator being, and you will have the ability to create life. And we already do. We already do. Both sides, good and evil, are able to
Thanks
create
for being a
life
member.
in different capacities.
Channel
if they know
Ramtha
what
for
they're
us,
doing.
Wilcock.
In third dimensional reality. And the negative side, of course, is talking about demons.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but
both
still,
sides can potentially
there's some
create
things
life
you have to do,
using
and one of them is pay
positive or negative
taxes.
practices.
And by the way, I just want to say, April 15th just passed, and I narrowly, M. Stone, survived taxes with my wife. I'm a small business owner, and my wife happens to be a corporate accountant. She works for a large corporation doing accounting work. And surviving the tax season with my wife, it's like getting an audit. But I did manage to survive. There's some things you just have to do in life, and one of them is pay income tax. I had to pay thousands of dollars in income tax, and to be quite honest with you, I wasn't very responsible, and I wasn't putting the money aside, and so this turned into a big problem. But we get through it, and you pay what your fair share is. I agree with you, though, that income tax is a form of theft.
that we're allowed to have either option. If you choose the negative option, then you are what the law of one calls confused, and you have to go through karma, in which whatever suffering you cause others is going to happen to you. So that's where, I had so many people trying to recruit me into.
He just said, whatever suffering you cause others is going to happen to you. Gee, David Wilcock, kind of like how you made millions of dollars selling people lies, and then apparently or allegedly you've been scammed out of millions of dollars to get a title at a shady fake aerospace company. David Wilcock claims he gave them millions of dollars, and they've done nothing so far with the millions of dollars he's invested in this shady aerospace company, except for buy an airplane hangar, promise the local government they're going to create all these jobs, take all these tax breaks. They haven't created one job. They haven't created one product in the years he's been dumping money into this company. Maybe David Wilcock's karma is that since he made his money scamming people, another scammer came along and scammed him out of money, allegedly.
To the occult side of the world religion that nobody really wants to talk about. I've had so many people try to recruit me and tell me, oh, you know, Lucifer isn't a bad thing and it's been misunderstood. It's
You're
just
trying to turn him into a Luciferian Satanist.
I've heard all this stuff. No, when you dig into it the way I do, you find out that there's some really dark things involved.
Could be a
I don't
box of
want to ever
monsters.
participate in those things. So I have not walked, but ran from it whenever it was
Could
offered.
be Hank McGurk.
Even if it included the idea that you're going to get $100 million or you're going to get $1 billion, I don't care. There's no amount of money you can pay me to make me want to get involved in this. Now,
Yeah, as
most
if
of the people
he's
who
not
are
willing to
involved-
do shady things for money. This man has been involved in more scams than anybody that I know in this space.
and it never had a choice. And that's why I don't really feel hatred towards them. Again, the 1998 lesson was if everybody hated Clinton, we could have had a pole shift. Michael talks about that in the Michael prophecies. So I don't want to hate these people. I don't think you should either.
If he's going to get rich scamming people, can he at
somebody's
least
grown up
chip
in a very
in for the
dark
roads?
system,
Yeah, at least
that's
if you're
not
going to
an
get rich
excuse
scamming
to
people, at least pay your taxes on the
feel that they
ill-gotten
themselves
gains, right?
had
You can't
free
mess with
will
the
every
IRS.
step of
They'll
way.
get
They
the money.
probably didn't. Most of the time, you get born into this stuff. You can't escape. You have no way
Yeah,
out.
I
You're
agree,
dragged into it
Davina
from a
TK.
child.
Absolutely.
You're traumatized very, very heavily. And you're just brought into this world where even though it's sickening
He
and
is.
disgusting, it's
He is
something
the
you have to go
opposite of
through and you
everything
have
he
to deal with.
claims.
It's
You're
just part
right.
of your life.
You're right. He claims to be some spiritually
So
advanced
this is
guru.
where
and he's selling
Michael's
people
teachings
lies.
in the Law of One and in the Michael prophecies, he really stresses not to demonize people. And that's going to be very difficult for us as more and more of this information emerges. But I really want to stress that once again, that if you were
Karma
born
is
into this,
real,
if you
ML.
grew up in it
Yeah.
your whole
Thanks
life,
for being a
you really
member.
had no choice, and there's no way to escape without being killed for most of these people. So in that sense,
Yes, the ring light.
whistleblower, who's known as Savali, has said, if there was a way that people could get out, there would be a mass exodus. And if they could get out and live, that's
Yeah.
the key.
The star's going to hang itself.
So all of this stuff that a certain group of people are doing is considered in the law of negative polarity, a negative path that can get very horrific. But this is not just an accident. The negative is authorized to be here for the purpose
Yeah,
of
I've never
creating spiritual growth for
non-catastrophic
us.
apocalypse.
Apparently in
until
the Law of
Wilcox
One, they said in the
understand this
beginning,
bullshit.
there were universes, there were galaxies created that had stars and planets.
It's truth. Yeah.
People on those planets had a full online connection to the one infinite creator. They were always online. They always had full access. They could do whatever they wanted. They had, and it turns out that they would sit around for hundreds of thousands of years.
You're right,
completely bored.
Dizzy.
They were like spoiled
Yeah.
rich kids, blissed
Thanks,
out,
Dizzy
high all
Blonde.
the time, didn't want to do any work, didn't create any art, didn't create any music, didn't create any poetry. Nothing really very exciting happened in their civilizations, and it took a very long time for them to evolve.
Yes, he wants the 2 billion
According to
Greer
Law of
turn
One,
down. Definitely.
There was a veil created between the conscious
Yeah,
and
he's
superconscious mind,
referencing.
starting
yeah.
in one galaxy.
My
in one
proof
logos.
is this bullshit book that I
What
wrote
this
myself,
allows for is
Storm
in
Crow.
third-dimensional reality
Good
now,
point.
People
My
could
proof
become
is the
consciously
bullshit books that I
unaware
wrote. All 7
that
of
they
them.
were
That's my
connected to
bullshit
any
books.
higher consciousness, or that there was a God. And this created a very
You say
much
so, Hank.
massively increased spiritual
Dum,
growth
dum,
process.
dum.
Instead of hundreds of thousands of years, people could get it done 25,000 years. Bang, bang, bang. Few incarnations,
3D
human
printed
incarnations,
food, yeah.
third dimensional. And
Well,
you
that's
get out of
coming
it.
though.
You go on
I
to
think.
fourth density, and now you become this ascended being with all these amazing abilities. And it's 100 times happier. You can levitate, you can fly, you can manifest objects out of.
This is all the things he was promising everybody in the lead up to 2012, and it never happened. Now he's recycling the same bullshit. We're all going to get superpowers when this Ascension event happens in the year 2025? What's he going to do when for the third time his prediction of everybody getting superpowers fails? 3 times now he's predicted this bullshit. And notice he's selling this course to desperate, lonely people. Oh, you're going to be 100 times happier by my course. Oh, you're going to get superpowers by my course. You know, this is specifically designed to take advantage of weak, vulnerable people. He is a bottom-feeding, shady scumbag, this guy, who is, you know, profiting from people's vulnerabilities, from people's fear, from people's loneliness and confusion. In other words, vulnerable people. Those are his marks. Those are his victims. What kind of karma is involved with victimizing those kind of people, David Wilcock?
Thin air. You can talk with the voice of power, make your voice really loud, and shake all the walls, everything around you. There's all kinds of interesting stuff you're going to be able to do. So this is all described in the Bible as well. The reason Jesus is called the Lion of Judah is that he had this roaring voice.
Yeah, why didn't Archangel Michael file his 1099s?
Multiple occasions where
Good question.
Jesus uses his voice of power. Or
oh, thanks, Dizzy Blonde. I'm trying to stay.
Casey did it, of course,
I gotta laugh so I don't cry at this shit.
Michael, his voice.
I gotta laugh. Sometimes you just gotta laugh at this guy.
Legal record testimony from his son, Hugh Lynn Casey. So this Krita Yuga is another name for the Satya Yuga. And again, there's 72 references to Krita Yuga in the Mahabharata, as you can see right here. 72 results when I type in Krita Yuga and Mahabharata. He steals from science fiction movies constantly. So again, the Krita
Patty
Yuga
says, wow, there's a warm place waiting for David Wilcock, and it's not Florida.
Others on details, saying, yeah, you guys are going to have this amazing thing happen. The whole planet's going to transform. And in Hinduism and Zoroastrianism, they say that the negative is allowed to be existing. Especially Zoroastrianism points this one out. The negative is allowed to exist to promote evolution in the positive. Okay, so then we have Book 8, Karna Parva, that seems to be possessed of the energy of the all-destroying sun.
I haven't seen the second one yet. When is that coming out, Anthony Peterson?
Having arrows for his rays and
or did it already?
For his
I'm always way behind on pop culture.
Circular disc. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Circular disc.
A myth mentions a circular disc.
All-destroying sun that rises at the end of the Yuga. Oh, yeah, you know that thing. Right. We all know about the all-destroying sun at the end of the Yuga. Well, that's the thing, man. Every time they talk about this solar flash, all of these ETs, they know about it. They look at how comfortable they are about the idea. He keeps
predicting solar flashes. He finds references to solar flashes in ancient texts, and yet it never happens. So who cares, David Wilcock?
Who's in this beautiful circular disc. He's glowing in this really amazing white light that the sun does normally at the end of the cycle. Well, what we find out is that these beings are on a different cycle of time than we are. And so 25,000 years for us might only be like 25 years for them.
All right, we're going to skip ahead. I think
for the Vatican,
there was something around 110.
To set it up that way so that they have all the wealth and anybody else
here,
any possibility of divine revelation.
He's complaining that people are complaining that he's making money here.
Very symbolic. The salvation of the world as the turkey gobbles. These two conjoined aspects of his teachings, emphasis on individual responsibility and concern for the whole cosmos, make his doctrine strikingly relevant to the conditions and problems of the Greek Hellenistic age. So the salvation of the world is dependent on the sum of all of our
I read the book in high school, I think.
Individual responsibility for the whole cosmos. Zoroastrians also do not demonize wealth. We have this thing called, I call it the subconscious Judeo-Christian bias.
He's going
the reason
to
people
justify
get so mad at me,
making money.
He's charging money, is they're used to thinking of the only way you can pursue spirituality is to be monastic and have no possessions. Well, wouldn't it be cool for the Vatican to set it up that way so that they have all the wealth and anybody else who could have any possibility of divine revelation is prohibited?
Well, some people who claim to have divine revelations and they can't prove it should be prohibited from selling that to stupid people. He is always trying to justify his selling people lies. I think from a psychological standpoint, David Wilcock actually does have a conscience, and he knows what he's doing is wrong. And he knows that these bullshit prophecies, I don't care how many books you write, 7, he can write 70. These aren't real prophetic predictions, David Wilcock. This is all your delusional fantasy where you're talking to angels and you're important. And I think his conscience bothers him. So he's constantly, there's like Freudian slips in his streams where he's trying to justify making money selling this bullshit.
From being able to have assets. Well, in Zoroastrianism, they encourage you to pursue wealth. And actually, that's not a bad thing. I think if you don't build wealth, then how are you going to ever have a comfortable, happy life? It can be very difficult. So
yeah, listen, I'm not against anybody making money, but when somebody is literally selling people fake angel prophecies and fake science for money, that's when I have a problem with it. If he was doing, reality-based research, or even research into like ancient mysteries and stuff, I wouldn't have any problem with him making money. But the fact that he continues to use things like fake government insiders, fake science, all the pyramid crap. Oh yeah, you can cure cancer. Just put water in a pyramid and it cures cancer. You're selling people literal fake garbage for money. That's when people have a problem, David Wilcock. If you earned a great deal of money at a reputable business, like, I don't know, if you were a carpenter, or imagine that, this guy working for a living with like hammers and tools, he wouldn't last one day, he would die. But I have no problem with people making money. The problem that I have is people making millions of dollars selling false narratives, false promises, false angelic prophecies, false promises of superpowers. Then I have a problem. You're literally promising people they're going to get superpowers for money.
So the individual responsibility, and it's the sum of all of our individual choices, is exactly what Michael ends up telling us, is that all of us have made enough positive strides that we do not have a pole shift coming. We're not going to have a catastrophic end.
Oh, we won't have a catastrophic end now.
Here might be trying to create that catastrophe. It's not going to happen. Instead, what we're going to get is what's called the future body.
You're right, Stormcrow. He almost died.
Yeah,
the future body. Where have we heard this from Wilcock before? Just like the rainbow light body that he sold before, and none of that shit happened. Now he found more spiritual texts that mention something similar, and now he's going to call it the future body because he found some things in Hindu texts that mention that instead of the rainbow light body, because he was stealing that from, I believe, Buddhism before. It's incredible.
The soul, which according to Zoroastrianism is existing apart in heaven, hell, or limbo, according to the individual judgment passed upon it at death. So yes, Ahura Mazda was teaching there is something like a hell.
Yeah, imagine that.
Stuck in for a while.
Imagine that. This is a good point. ML, thanks for being a member, says, what does a guy like Wilcock think to himself before he goes to sleep every night? Or imagine waking up in the, just looking in the mirror at night before you go to bed, brushing your teeth or whatever. What do? Do you look in the mirror and say, you did a really good job scamming people with fake angel nonsense today? You did a great job making thousands of dollars selling people complete and total fake science, lies, and promises of superpowers. How do you live with yourself selling this nonsense to people? How do you justify it to yourself? Normal people have consciences. I don't know that he does, because he's been at this for decades, and he never takes responsibility. Every time one of his predictions fails miserably, he just goes away for a little while, comes back and pretends that none of that shit happens and starts selling brand new bullshit.
Bad karma, you might choose to go and get tortured for a while before you go back to a regular human incarnation. So that's in there too. It's all the same kind of stuff. Events that are happening on Earth right now are the immediate precursors to the revelation of our galactic family and the first wave of ascension according to Michael. And again,
Daddy needs his
fix. On those passages.
Donate today.
This coming weekend in Colorado. We are going to make it available as a streaming.
David
so you
Wilcock's
don't have to
appearing at
watch
the Best
it. You can just
Western.
buy that one talk I'm doing a la carte. Also, Stavati CEO Chris Beskar is going to be there, and he's promising new disclosures of information.
Now he's saying that the shady, scammy aerospace CEO who hasn't been able to produce a single airplane product since 1993 when he started his company. What is that? Almost 30 years of running this shady, scammy company. He's got exciting disclosure revelations to make just in time for our disclosure conference.
So I told him, don't tell me over the phone. Just tell me once you get here. He's going to be here on Wednesday, and we're going to this conference together. So it's going to be good to see him. I haven't seen him in quite a while in person, but he's going to be disclosing some new things. So those
he's going to be disclosing new things. Wow, and you can buy his talk.
.com/David is where you can go. So I'm a little nervous about doing a conference. I admit. I mean, it's like a lot of people try to talk to me. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of intensity. I get a lot of seduction attempts. That
I gotta wind that back. David Wilcock is claiming that. Yeah, David Adair's program. Yeah, remember he was going to create a space force that would rival NASA, and he was given billions of dollars, and instead he's working small UFO conventions in small towns for $150, ML. But thanks for being a member. I have to wind this back because David Wilcock is about to claim that when he does a live event, all these women try to seduce him, and it's very difficult to go to a live event because so many women are trying to bang him. Look at this guy. What women are trying to bang David Wilcock, right? What kind of skags, right? That's what we used to call them when I was a kid. Like if a girl was like really gnarly and ugly, and or skag or a skank. What kind of skag or skanks are trying to bang David Wilcock at these live events?
Also, Stavati CEO Chris Beskar is going to be there, and he's promising new disclosures of information. So I told him, don't tell me over the phone. Just tell me once you get here. He's going to be on
Davina says that's gross.
Going to this conference together.
What kind of skanks are trying to bang Wilcock?
I haven't seen him quite a while.
Here he goes.
In person, but
listen,
he's going to be disclosing some new things. So those talks are going to be available a la carte at thedisclosuresummit.com/David.
Yes, it's top secret.
Go.
Here we go. Now he's going to say it.
I'm a little nervous about doing a conference. I admit. I mean, it's like a lot of people try to talk to me. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot of intensity. I get a lot of seduction attempts.
Attempts.
There's things that happen that are very intense, and so it's kind of a cacophony of good and bad. And
it's so difficult.
It's
so difficult.
Are still squeaking.
It's so difficult to do these live events because so many bitches try to bang me. It's so difficult doing a live event because all these skaggy bitches, these new age hippie, crystal hippie bitches that smell like jasmine oil are all trying to fuck me. I can't stand these skags at these live events trying to seduce me. Come on, David Wilcock. No women are trying to seduce you on purpose, dude. The only, when he says stuff like that, I don't know why, but I instantly think of him with a rag and chloroform. I'll just leave it at that. There's a mental picture you're not likely to soon forget. David Wilcock at a New Age speaking event with a rag with chloroform on it. That's probably the only way he's getting a woman.
So funny. You're telling me keep moving. All right, I'll listen. So at the end of time,
yes, they definitely have limits.
To the perfect
aliens are
spirit that
sus.
we came from.
Yes.
No longer hidden in materiality.
All the women flocking to Wilcock trying to bang him. Absurd. I agree. Yeah, it's just so stupid.
Clad in a body that is now without any blemishes, it has become immortal and undecaying. So this is their teaching about the future body. Now we're going to talk about the Eshatan. This is the overall
that is true, Kimmy.
Of the end of the world, as you can see here. By
being a millionaire does seem to loosen panties.
For last, the end of time, or the climax of history. And then look at this.
It could be men trying to bang him. Yeah, that's probably what happens. A bunch of gay dudes trying to bang him.
Ordained
trying to get him to
of history.
Down and
that sounds pretty
come out of the closet.
Well, now we're going to read from the Zoroastrian
Association. I bet you more men try to bang David Wilcock
say,
at those events than women.
Zoroaster to the Greeks, prophet of the world's oldest revealed.
And we want to thank a kind and generous benefactor here. Thank you very much. For those unaware, we read every single super chat, and we thank every single person who sends us any bit of support, whether it's a PayPal pledge or you become a member or you send a super chat. We thank every one of you. Is that Klingon? Kapla. Thanks for your work with a kind Lucas. Lucas Bachman, with a kind and generous $20 super chat, says, "Kapla, thanks for your work." Well, thank you for helping us too.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
We're praising the cash lovely tonight. Thank you very much for your kindness, generosity, and support. I'll just check in and make sure. Yeah, we've read every single one. For those unaware, we read every single super chat, which I take that as an important thing here. We're a viewer supported show, and in order to stay broadcasting, we rely on your support. So I think it's important to thank every single one of you. We want to thank initials DB on PayPal for a kind and generous 1818 PayPal pledge. Maria with a kind and generous $20 PayPal pledge. Initials CK with a kind and generous $20 PayPal pledge. We thank you all for your kindness, generosity, and support. Thank you all for helping us too.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
So imagine that, David Wilcock. People will send you money for telling them the truth and not lying to them. We appreciate all of the support. Thank you, guys.
Religion, maybe not. Zoroastrianism, it might be Hinduism because they're supposedly 18,000 years old. But whatever, okay.
Enough religions to sell his bullshit. Now he's bringing Zoroastrianism. I always have trouble saying that. Into the mix, right? Anthony Peterson with a kind, generous $2 says, "Please, Steve, no more disturbing images tonight." Thank you, Anthony Peterson, longtime show supporter, for helping us too.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Right. Yes. And by the way, we're already over 2 hours. We've done, I skipped like 20 minutes, but we've done like an hour, maybe. There was something I just wanted to show that he's still using, even after being called out for it, he's still using the Shadows of Ezra Q-Tard post from Telegram as material. And he's still using this completely and totally proven sensor anomaly, right? This is nothing spectacular. No, there isn't waves going 80 feet high. That was a sensor anomaly. And the organization that creates these maps came out and said it was a sensor anomaly. David Wilcock still claiming that this is some spectacular secret information that he got from a Q-Tard Telegram channel. Let's listen.
They say it might have also happened on February 21st. Well, we're going to learn about all this. And it's going to be a massive awakening for humanity.
Lots of sniffing.
So again, if
in this.
you look carefully, you can see all the ripples of the waves coming off of this 80-foot tall tsunami because they blew this thing off,
Yeah.
off the coast.
He's
of
got
Antarctica.
skank hookers trying to bang him maybe for
They
a couple
showed us
$100.
Iran's building, the Parliament building, and it actually has 33.
He's recycling the
windows,
Shadows of
and it's
Ezra
shaped like
Q-Tard
a pyramid.
stuff.
Oh, isn't that weird?
This is
Well, no, it's because
This is another reason why his streams are 3 hours and 30 minutes, because he repeats the same shit that he did on. This is all shit that he repeated on the last stream. He showed all this shit on the last 2 streams, and he's showing it again. He's just doing the super chat shuffle out here, I think.
world leaders are.
But we have detailed that the Shadows of Ezra guy doesn't know who the hell David Wilcock is or why he's using his posts to grift for super chats. Oh, look at that. Here's a reason why you should hit that subscribe button. I don't say it enough. I'm not a great YouTuber, but all good YouTubers will tell you, smash that subscribe button. But I have a special reason to tell you to smash the subscribe button, because in case you were unaware, people here, kind and generous people like member High Speed Chase, longtime show supporter. He is the MVP of gifting Truth Seekers memberships. He just gifted 5 Truth Seekers memberships. And what happens, if you're unaware, is that if you are subscribed to our channel but not yet a member and somebody gifts memberships, YouTube randomly distributes those free memberships to subscribers who are not yet members. So it's a great time to smash that subscribe button. You might get a free membership, get some extra goodies out of it. And thank you, High Speed Chase, for your kindness, generosity, and continued support of the show. Longtime show supporter, High Speed Chase. Thank you for helping us to praise the cash. And we want to take a moment to thank you, Patreon supporters, and you YouTube channel members. For those unaware, you can join our Patreon for $1 or more. You set the amount, and you get just some extra goodies. If you become a YouTube channel member, that's $5 a month. and you get the same benefits that we give the Patreon supporters, but you get a channel member badge letting people know that you're a big supporter of the show and a few other goodies from YouTube. We thank all of you for your kindness, generosity, and support, and all of you for helping us to praise the cash.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
Thank you all for your kindness, generosity, and support. We're not going to go much further here. I wanted to play the part where he's pitching the event again because it's funny.
Something that you haven't been told about. There's spiritual laws in the universe.
Oh, so for those unaware, he keeps using this Shadows of Ezra guy who is a telegram Q-tard. Listen to this stuff. Vladimir Putin warns the United States not to interfere in the Iran and Israel tensions. Putin has not condemned the attack. This is all Q-tard stuff. Q-tard conspiracy nonsense, right? And then he's going to talk about Reagan and that speech he gave about, we'd all come together if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world, right? I wanted to see where he's pitching the event. So we're just gonna skip by again.
And they dissed Alex. I kind of don't want to hurt Alex's feelings. He's been through so much, but they did throw a little shade on Alex. He's once again telling a BS version of history. This is why Bill Cooper despised him. Who declared the war on Germany? And then they have this whole video, and it talks you through the whole thing. And again, I grew up in New York. And so I feel very badly about the Holocaust. I absolutely believe it did happen. And they just are giving you some different perspectives on how that.
Well, those herpes pimples on his face under his eye aren't looking too good. It's been a couple of weeks. He ought to get some medical attention.
Or might have started in this case.
And by the way, I'm just kidding. I don't know if he has herpes or if that's chlamydia pimples. I don't know what form of sexually transmitted disease causes that. But if you're a 50-plus-year-old man and you're suddenly getting acne on your face, there's something not right. High Speed Chase with another kind of generous $5 super chat says, damn Wookiee spankers. Well, there's another mental image for you. David Wilcock spanking off, jerking off some Wookiees. He's a big Star Wars fan. I think he is a Wookiee spanker, High Speed Chase, but thank you for your donation.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, let's see what else he has to say. We're going to wrap this up soon.
I think getting up to the present now, this is the last one that they just showed us. Ryan Garcia won his fight. He claims he has the complete list, saying high-profile figures are running away because they know what's coming. It's going to happen. And he suggested the...
It's funny, he keeps using these Q-tard posts, and the guy who is Shadows of Ezra is like, I don't have any association with him. I don't want him using my posts in his live streams, and he's still doing it. That's balls.
Existence of other islands that are similar for purposes of this blackmail.
It's his third eye popping out.
The elites involved in the force of the BG. So they showed us this. And then we had Bill Maher calling out this agenda. And that really shocked me. I mean, if you watch this thing, it's like, whoa. He really, really doesn't hold back. And to me, this is proof that they are now not holding back at all.
That's a good point, Matt Finley.
In the open. And
Talmud says he is 100% a Wookiee spanker.
So
yes, he is 100% a Wookiee
they
spanker.
don't want the woke stuff. They don't want the gender things going on. He's got a very different message than what the media was putting out before.
Did you know Dizzy Blonde? I used to be in this band, and I wore a lot of makeup. It was like gothy, and and it's so funny. Like I was driving the band van one time, and we went across like a toll booth, and I forgot that I still had the makeup on. And the guy taking the money just like jumped out of his chair. He went, "Oh my God, you scared the shit out of me. You look like a vampire, bro." He was like a black guy. I thought it was so funny. But yeah, if you're going to cake on that much makeup, you got to clean it off before you go to bed or when you're done, or it clogs your pores. And yes, it will cause a great deal of skin problems for you.
And I think they've realized they're really boxed into a corner now, and they got to just, get the truth away from them as quickly as possible. Well, I'm happy to report I've gotten myself up to date. I'm up to the present with the situation of the post, and that's the most recent one.
Yeah, stuff like that happened a lot.
So I feel very good because we're just over 3 hours, and I'm trying to keep it as manageable as possible. So now I get to summarize.
Well, if you didn't repeat so much of the same shit,
in my view,
it would take 2 hours to get through this.
Tracking a situation, as they said, could have ended right around the eclipse. That whole I versus I thing could have led to a very intense escalation that could have led to blackouts, internet blackout, arrests, emergency message system, all that stuff. As a result of this, not
to piss rash. Could be a piss rash.
The more recent,
you're right, Jason Parker.
Authoritatively telling us
that could be definitely be a piss rash.
In time, this is going to happen. So that makes me feel great because every week I've been looking at these messages and the urgency that they have, and I'm like, this could be the last time I get to do a show before something really, really big is going down. Now I think we can breathe a little bit more. So I wanted to bring to you these.
So in other words, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen.
Both of them talk about how evil is defeated, and the planet is transformed.
Evil is defeated.
The Zoroastrian tradition, they emphasize
evil is defeated. There are wars and people starving all over the country. There is a naked aggression. Pardon that. I don't know why I said naked. There is increased aggression all over planet Earth right now. Countries are battling for resources. More wars are likely to break out. And he's saying, we've defeated evil. I don't think so. Thank you. High Speed Chase with another one. I'm going to write a heavy metal song about this Wookiee spanker. Yeah, we should do that. We should do that. I'll do the drums and sing and do the bass, right? But thank you, High Speed Chase, longtime show supporter, and we appreciate you. And I'm glad you're not a Wookiee spanker, High Speed Chase.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
All right, let's try to finish this up. He's going to go into his wrap up here. We'll listen to that.
Build our way into this transition from the ground up. So I've talked to you about this at great length. It's been 3 hours a week for weeks. And now we've also
been repeating himself.
Interplanetary climate change. We've gotten to see.
But he's just doing the super chat shuffle here.
On every single planet in the solar system, including Earth, completely
I don't
validates.
Know. It feels like staring at a train wreck. I agree with you.
From 35 different cultures around the world, about a 25,000-year cycle, saying that at the end of the cycle, there's going to be a solar
That's a good thing to do, Hank
flash.
McGurk.
And it did happen, but only next door. It didn't happen here. It happened next door.
The solar flash I predicted multiple times that would destroy Earth never actually happened, but it happened in a it happened in a star system near us. So my fake prophetic provisions were still correct, right?
Fascinating, because we have so many measurable changes. We got brightness changes in Uranus's ring.
Well, those pimples look like more than pimples to me. I think that he's taken his demon form. Like maybe the fucking spikes are starting to come through his face from communicating with demons. That could be what's going on there. And he's doing his best to hide it with all that makeup, but it looks terrible.
Neptune
could be herpes, right? It could be herpes. It could be what somebody said earlier. What was that? Chlamydia sores or something? I don't know if he has any STDs, but that's crazy. A 50-year-old man suddenly starting to get all kinds of terrible acne. Something's going on there.
All bright. Uranus went crazy and got all bright.
Uranus.
Saturn has got a 58.6 slowdown in its clouds. All these extra plasma tubes. All of Jupiter's moons are getting brighter. Jupiter is getting hotter. Mars is getting hotter. Venus is getting brighter. Mercury's got.
He thinks he looks better. Yeah.
New magnetic field. It's just so much stuff. And I'm sorry if I'm overwhelming you with data. This is a lot.
This isn't data. You're not. He's not overwhelming me with data. He's overwhelming me with bullshit. That's what he's over. I need a shovel. It's getting so deep in here.
Bring in the interplanetary.
I need waders. You know, those things you use to fish, like them rubber boots that go all the way up to your chest. Because the bullshit is getting pretty deep in here, David Wilcock. And what are you going to do when none of this shit happens? You've already predicted all this is going to happen next year. Well, I'll be here to remind everybody. And I'm saving all these clips of you saying all this shit.
In case you haven't already seen this stuff, because it maps out so nicely with prophecies that we absolutely know are ancient. Hindu and Zoroastrian are absolutely ancient.
Yeah, it could be
Greek
money
prophecy
problems
about the
making him
fire
break
from
out.
heaven
Stress
is
can
ancient,
cause acne, I think,
and yet the
right?
solar system is doing exactly what we would
ML
expect
says,
it would
I'm
do
underwhelmed with
to
the
make
data.
these prophecies fulfilled
Didn't you see
in the
enough
present time.
slides, ML? Thanks for being a
Zoroastrians
member, though.
visited Jesus. They had frankincense
He
and
needed
myrrh.
more
Those are
slides to
anti-demonic
convince
incense
ML.
products. They wanted to practice that he would be the savior, give him the stuff he needs. And sure enough, now what
It's
we have is a
monkeypox.
prophecy that says
Whoa,
Saoxian's
you're right,
world
Tim
will
Curley.
come
Could be
back,
monkeypox. Thanks
but
for
they're
being a
led
member.
by
Thanks for
one
being here.
sort of
Welcome.
messianic leader, and that this will lead to the defeat of evil on earth through the concerted efforts of the just.
We're going to defeat evil.
So now what I'm showing you is the concerted.
David Wilcock is going to defeat evil on earth by telling you to take baths in your own piss and buy his angel course for $333. How ridiculous is this? Could you, and the funny thing is David Wilcock acts like this truth warrior. Could you imagine if he was confronted with like a real fight, like a physical fight?
efforts.
I'd pay good money to see somebody in a boxing ring just beat the shit out of him. I'm sorry if that makes me a terrible person, but I would.
The just in the form of what we call the alliance, the fulfillment of the Zoroastrian prophecy is happening with the alliance.
Maybe he can
Whether
fight
you know it or not.
Mike Tyson after
I was
Jake
briefed
Paul.
on this back in 2009. I said to myself, if these
Look at the
guys
back
are
of
really
my head.
serious, then how come there isn't
I don't
more
understand.
prophecy about it?
That's why he needs 7 camera angles, because 2 of them are of the back of his head and don't look right. Why is he using back of his head shots?
How come there aren't more people talking about this? So to understand
Carpet
the
munching
big
some bad
picture of
hookers
all the
could cause
physics and all
that,
the
says
science of
aliens are
Ascension, I did
sus.
create a course,
Carpet
and I'd like to
munching
just
bad
end
hookers.
promote it one
I don't
last
think you
time.
should be munching on any
Sacred Science
hookers.
of Michael Prophecies.
That's
11
not
documentaries,
sanitary.
10.5 hours.
Here's the
at
pitch.
WDisclosure.com.
Buy my
Type in the
shit.
word jubilation. I will give you a massive discount.
Oh, a massive
And again,
discount.
these videos go into all the details that explain why the interplanetary climate change is happening, how this geometry works, how the 25,000-year cycle works, what the ancient prophecies said, how it came through Saint Germain. I mean, it's an astonishing body of data. We get into the information about Crowley and Lam and occult rituals, all this kind of stuff.
All this stuff that he's
I also
already
wanna
talked
say
about
this
on his
coming
live
weekend,
streams.
I'm appearing at Disclosure Summit, and you can visit it at this site. This is
Don't
the front
visit
page
that.
of the website.
No.
We've got,
You don't want to hear any more
James
secret
Gilliland,
space
who's a
fake
classic
shit?
UFO researcher.
For
We have
400
two classic
bucks?
Brazilian UFO researchers.
Yeah, because you couldn't get any
We have some
Americans to
really
appear with you
robust
and
scholars of the
Wilcock.
Law of One material, like Michael Wiskoski.
Michael
have my
Wiskoski is the
classic
scholar of
co-star.
the Law of One material. No, he's the guy that helps Corey Good sell his secret space nonsense now.
From the Gaia TV days, Corey Good. This is the Eddie Van Halen, David Lee Roth reunion. If you wanted one, we're doing.
He just compared him and Corey Good to David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think you two are anywhere near as famous, influential, important, artistic, or powerful as those two gentlemen. You two are clowns. You're secret space, fake conspiracy clowns.
Doing it once. Corey and I have remained friends. I did not want to get involved in any of the legal battles that he's been doing.
Well, he's lying right here, because Corey Good, one of the people that Corey Good sued, countersued Corey Good and also countersued David Wilcock. So he did get dragged into Corey Good's legal battles. And there's been rampant rumors and speculation that his wife left him because he would not cut ties with Corey Good. What kind of a sicko chooses Corey Good and his friendship with Corey Good over his marriage? Apparently, or allegedly, David Wilcock gave up his marriage because he would not stop working with Corey Good as his wife, Elizabeth Wilcock, allegedly wanted him to. Interesting.
But I still support him because we have some similarities in our work.
I still support him because he's giving me work. Nobody is giving David Wilcock live speaking fees and engagements except for Corey Good. That's why he's working with him. He's desperate for money.
And I wanted to do this event and kind of break my fast. And honestly, there wasn't any other events I felt comfortable speaking at right now. I just wanted to do one that was close.
There wasn't any other events that would hire him, apparently, or allegedly.
Close to home. I don't have to travel. I don't have to get on a plane. I can drive there. I actually did get a dog sitter. And at this event, The CEO of Stavati is going to be there, Chris Beskar. I'm going
Oh,
to
it's
try
great.
when we do the.
So if you want to pay $400 to go see the CEO of a shady, scammy aerospace company that has been promising people that he's going to build airplanes for, 30 years now and has never built anything, that is lying to people, claiming that he got drafted into classified programs in 8th grade, you can get that for $400. Yes, you too can see David Wilcock and a secret space clown that lied to everybody for 8 years about secret space adventures. And also, as a bonus, you get to hear from Chris Beskar, who's going to lie to you and tell you that he got drafted into classified secret programs in 8th grade. Right? Who would pay $400 for this? Right? Oh, I want to see the CEO of Stavati, who's being sued right now. And investors are claiming he's running a Ponzi scheme and investment scam. I want to pay $400 to hear that guy talk, right? The guy who lied and said that Star Wars named Beskar armor from The Mandalorian after him because he's such a genius. By the way, the actual and real inventor of the term Beskar armor never heard of Christopher Beskar. So he lied about that too.
Meet and greets to have like a Chris Beskar line and a David Wilcock line. There's going to be 2 lines, okay? So
$111 to watch it online.
Everybody can meet Chris. Everybody can meet me. When he talks,
I wonder if Corey Good has a
Wookiee
Wookiee suit. Just a thought,
But
says
anyway,
Arlene
he's claiming-
Atkins. Thanks for being a member,
A
Arlene,
lot of new information.
and for putting a smile on my
So you can
face.
buy that a la carte. You don't have to go to the conference. All you have to do, again, is go to this website, thedisclosuresummit.com, and you can.
Who cares about your
if you want
dog
to,
sitter?
Buy the streaming version of what we're going to be doing. Last but not least, we have
Oh my
3
God,
hours
Lance,
and
that
12
thing.
minutes. And now I want to go back to my main slide here, where I can look at what you guys are saying. Meditate on the symbol of the tree of life your ancestors created on ancestral land, and you will reignite your blood. This is from Goddess Guru Melina. I believe it was made up. I never trusted his ridiculous claims. I just wanted to see it. Chris King says the meek shall inherit the earth. Bulletproof vests on, Lauren Renee says. I think I'm going to be fine. We're gonna
David Wilcock, remember, he famously at Contact in the Desert said that there was some bomb threats and terror threats and threats against his life. No, that was somebody who asked some questions. That's terrorism to David Wilcock. There was terroristic threats, and he lied about increased police presence and all this stuff. We checked with the local police. Nothing that he said happened at Contact in the Desert actually happened. He claimed that the hotel was on heightened security. We checked with the hotel. No, they weren't. He just lies through his fake teeth constantly, this guy.
have good security. So there's a lot of people that are going to be there. Tarotina, when the moon is on the 7th house and Jupiter's aligned with Mars.
Why you
not
got to be
happy.
so mean to me?
You're
Yeah.
not in the age of peace and love. Just call you.
Imagine how crazy the people are that donate to
As
him.
Michael
Yeah.
said, it got delayed to 2025. Oh, you got girly a human chew toy. I'm not sure what that means. Thank you, David, for your efforts. The Michael prophecies have really helped my family. Now I stay calm.
Yeah, he said people were firing guns at him in the
I love
forest
these
too.
3-hour
Yeah,
videos.
we checked with the local
Season of
police.
Love is
There was no
blind,
reports
except
of that.
They're all competing for David. I don't want you guys to compete for me. We can share, just spread David around, spread the love, man.
Yeah, he lies.
Thank you for
made a
sharing Misty
living
World.
lying through his fake
You should
teeth.
see if Chris Beskar can build a facility here in New York. We got a 3-mile long runway.
Yes,
we
it
can
does
test
show
our
you how
aircraft
comfortable
at.
he
John
is with
Smith.
lying.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we do have a facility in New York. We have a 180,000 square foot military hangar in Niagara Falls. We call it Snapper. And
Yes, and it's currently being rented to a garbage dumpster company. Is he going to tell his audience the truth? Oh yeah, we have this 180,000 square foot facility, and it's being rented out by a garbage company and filled with garbage dumpsters, and that's our only income. Is he going to tell the truth about that, or just brag that he has an airplane hangar?
That's our prototyping facility.
It's
We're
a
also
prototype.
looking
It's a
into
garbage
Texas.
facility.
There might be some other states we might be doing things in. We're looking to expand. There's some foreign countries we're talking to. I'm not even worried anymore. I mean, we might have a deal by Monday or Tuesday. Don't worry about me. I'm going to be okay. It's going to be fine.
He
Peace,
doesn't
love,
have
harmony,
any
and
deal.
freedom.
He has no deal.
Meek equals MK equals the Black Goddess. I love it. I don't know who Corey is, Curzon Cox says, but the legal system is designed to keep geniuses from speaking to each other and wasting time. The educational system is designed that way. 100th Monkey says not many.
All right, we'll just get to the
Hour.
peace meditation.
Global peace meditation.
And this is why
Yay!
this is why there's wars all over planet Earth now, because David Wilcock has no power to do any kind of peace meditation to change anything. He's been doing these peace meditations for years, and you know what happened? More wars broke out since he started doing them. What a fake guru.
I'm finally done, man. This is like so much work getting through one of these shows. My God. Trying to get it done in 3 hours and trying to cram
he's
you guys
working
full of all
so
this
hard.
information is not
It's
easy.
so
But again,
hard to spew
we
bullshit
have a
for
little
3
bit more
hours
time. I
straight
feel better
and then
than I
take
did
the rest of the
before. I'm
week
more
off.
confident, and without
This guy spews bullshit on YouTube for 3 hours, and that's his whole week of work. Imagine if your work week was 3 hours. Would you complain about how hard that was? But Wilcock is complaining.
without further ado, let's start our meditation. Here we go. I'd like you to close your eyes now, put both feet flat on the floor,
No.
and let yourself just drift into a nice, easy state of relaxation.
I can't relax while I'm looking at his forehead. It gives me anxiety.
Follow
I don't know
your
about the
breath.
rest of you. You know? Get ready to laugh, says Patty Wilhelm.
As you breathe in, and then just gently let yourself exhale. Imagine all the changes. that
Wookiee's
happen in your
butthole.
life
I could see him doing lines of coke
as
off
you're
of Wookiee's
awakening to a
butthole.
much greater reality. Most people would
Matt
dare
Finley
to
says,
believe
Lance that fucking thing.
is really true.
Well, now we get the
As you're
multiple, we
awakening
get the
to this greater
fades, right?
reality, as you're breathing
I was
and
really
relaxing
worried,
more and
says
more.
ML.
As you breathe in, imagine the planets and how they're changing. Look at Neptune. Look at the incredible brightness increases that we've stumbled over.
Oh my God,
at
I'm
Uranus.
fast forwarding. I could, who
Look at
cares?
the massive Zoroastrian and many others.
Look at Uranus.
Telling us
He's telling
truth
people to look at their
about the
assholes.
future that
Look
we
at
can look
Uranus.
forward to. A future of
Uranus.
truth,
Look at
a
it.
future
Look
of
at
beauty,
Uranus.
a future of love, a future of expanded consciousness, a future in which many things that seem to be hidden from us now
Aliens
now
are
be
sus says he's
commonly
selling stolen
accepted
goods on
truths.
Facebook. That'll be next. He'll be
And
selling those thousands of
breathe
dollars
in
worth of
with
equipment and
knowingness that
software
the
he
galactic
bought with
family
charitable
will soon return
donations.
to us, our galactic brothers and sisters. Sharing happiness,
ML says, I'm
sharing
not
knowledge,
meditating with this
sharing
dude or
wisdom,
closing my eyes.
saving our planet.
Yeah, I
What
wouldn't
would
close
have
my
been
eyes
certain
around
doom.
David Wilcock either.
Reminding us to share this love that we're raising now with the planet.
Is he
with
going to
all
start?
those who
No,
need
he
prayer
hasn't
and
started
healing.
speaking in tongues
And
yet.
most
That's
importantly,
you're giving him
sharing
ideas
this
for
love
new
with
grifts,
ourselves.
though, right?
Bring us back to the point of the present. Bring us back to the omnipresent
ML, he's making my
consciousness of
skin
one
crawl
infinite
right now.
Creator.
One infinite
And how
creator.
that consciousness becomes our own as we still our breath and still our minds
Arlene Atkins going to
the
sit and crunch
effervescent
Cheetos
peace
instead of meditating.
in between the cracks of everyday reality.
The cracks of everyday
We
reality.
send this energy to the earth and all those in need of prayer and healing, and lastly to ourselves,
Roll your eyes
So we
back. Do
are
the thing.
the light, the love.
What is he
One
doing with his
infinite
eyes
creator,
closed? Stealing,
just
of
as it
course.
was,
Yes.
as it is now, and as it always shall be. And so
He
is
doesn't ever shut his stupid face when people are
okay,
trying
we
to
only lost
meditate.
350 people. Let's start waking up now. Not too bad. 350 die-offs. It's not too bad. 3,655. We still have that now. That's incredible.
He's claiming he has
Thank
3,600
you guys
live viewers.
for hanging in there with me. It wasn't that long, was it? Oh, we're a little over 3 hours and 20 minutes. I didn't really want that. But anyway, here we go. I hope you've enjoyed it this week. I think we got a little more time. I think you can breathe a little more. We dodged some major, major bullets around the eclipse.
We didn't dodge
Still
anything.
trucking.
Nothing happened.
So what do they mean by in time? Maybe a few weeks. I don't know. But definitely, I would say
Yes,
before
speaking in
November.
tongues
Still,
is next
I'm not
if his
gonna
text that isn't
expect
paid.
it, to last that long. But anyway, I want to thank you for being here. Let's read a few more of your comments. Vortex of DEW. Thank you so much, David. I have related and found your knowledge fascinating.
I'm trying to
I'll continue
meditate.
Sending you love and
Yes.
respect, inner wisdom to help all of us move forward in our cosmic destiny.
This is what he
Somebody
does on the
says, Don't you
toilet.
think you're going through the photon belt soon? It's a multi-year event that happens. Well, yeah, we're in it now. I mean, that's the point. We're going through something very phenomenal. Major, major.
Yeah, I
worldwide
agree,
consciousness
Arlene
activation.
Atkinsell. I
Goddess
agree.
Guru Melina, I've enjoyed reading her stuff. David, you're a warrior of fire. Don't be afraid to be dangerous. Your heart is
Yes,
in the
he
right
is so
place.
close to speaking
her
in
name,
tongues.
the
Just give it a
Black
little more
Goddess.
time. Yeah.
Say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. I love James Brown. I love the Black Goddess. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm
So
black and I'm
I want to
proud.
end now. This has been a really great show for you guys. Stavati Aerospace Incorporated. Yep. Much
Yeah, I
love
don't
from
know. Does
Switzerland.
he?
Always a pleasure to
I have
wake
an
up with
open
you.
mind though.
Thank you. I'm glad I caught the live stream. Eagle Dove 9.
Wilcock
Taro
just full of it.
Peterson's
The
Be
king
Bunch
of
Hearts.
Hugo Mundo. Haven't
Thanks,
seen you in a
Dave, my
while here.
mother,
Welcome.
and I love you eternally. Always grateful to learn from you. I want to thank you guys for watching today. It's been a real honor to be here. And we will probably, I can't see you next week because I'm going to be doing an event. So you're going to miss me next week. But I am going to be speaking. You just have to pay for it this time. But I'll be back the week after.
You just have to pay for it.
So we'll
yeah.
see you soon.
You got to
Thanks
pay
for
for
watching.
it. You got to pay
We'll
for
talk
my
to you next time.
bullshit. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. Now, I realize that we didn't go through the whole thing because if I went through this whole 3 hours and 30 minutes, I would die from exposure to bullshit. I would be so buried in bullshit that I would suffocate and die live on stream. So we did jump around, but remember, I gotta do what I gotta do. I didn't expect it to go this long. We're at 2 hours and 41 minutes. Yeah, and Davina says, look how proud of himself he is. Yeah, I did a great job selling bullshit for 3.5 hours straight and getting those super chats for all my lies. What stands out to me is that he literally lied through his teeth and told people that Hindu text was an ancient Hindu text. He knows that that was published in the 1950s and it was a channeled book. He knows better. And as for all the rest of it, I mean, it's the same stuff he's been doing for the last couple of weeks. Let's mix in some Q-tard Telegram posts, planetary changes, fake science. He pulled out the frogs, turning into salamanders bullshit again. It's the same. He is desperate for money. I can tell because he used to only do like one stream every couple of weeks. But then again, sometimes when he has these courses to sell, he does do a stream every other week or every week. But imagine sitting around a multi-million-dollar mansion just coming up with this fake nonsense to put on YouTube for people. I mean, I don't understand anybody giving him money. And if you actually watch his actual live stream, by the way, we didn't put it in the description of the video. I used a mirrored copy so we didn't have to sit through ads. But you can go just search David Wilcock on YouTube. You can find the video and do the live chat replay and go add up how much money people send him just for that 3.5 hour stream. It'll make you sad for humanity, at least me. Now maybe maybe that's because I myself am under some increased financial pressure lately due to this terrible economy, but I can't believe that people send him as much money as they do for this disconnected bunch of pseudoscience, fake conspiracy theories, completely factually wrong information like, hey, this is an ancient Hindu text. No, it was published in 1952, you asshole. You can't even get basic facts right, and people are just sending them money. Poor feckin' frogs, says Matt Finley. They're turning on the frogs, yes. Arlene says, thanks, Stephen, for not showing the entire thing. I can't sit through 3.5 hours of this bullshit. It's just getting too much. And by the way, we only did part 1 of the last stream. We could still do another hour and a half of the last stream he did before this one. We didn't get to it. It's just been too busy. But I think we've done our due diligence. People need a religion, Steve. That's it, says Matthew. Hey, very good point. Very good point. Hank McGurk, yes, but a different logo is in the back. Aliens are sus, says grifters suck hard. Can't believe Wilcock is not gone by now. It's fascinating to me that he could be wrong this much and people still tune into him and people still give him, thousands of dollars in super chats and stuff. It's amazing. It's like watching a slow motion car wreck. Like you don't really want to see anybody hurt, but you can't look away. Send Cambion some cash so he can get himself some real merch. I haven't worn, we do have, check in the description of our video, we have a merchandise store on Amazon and you can buy some nice merchandise. I haven't really been pitching that because, for whatever reason, just busy doing the show. People know that there's a merchandise store. You could buy a True Seeker shirt or we have a bunch of different designs on the store. We have real merch. He said he has hover cars already made. Yeah. Matt Finley says, nominally, the economy looks great because the numbers are larger. Inflation, practically, we're all hurting, some badly. Yeah, Matt Finley. It is what it is, though. You got to tighten your belt and survive. Oh, you mean I should be wearing it? Yeah. You know, there's that thing like when I was in bands, we always sold T-shirts for our bands, for our band, and I never wanted to be the guy in the band wearing the band shirt. So maybe I feel that way here. I have worn some of the Truth Seeker shirts here live on the show to try to promote them. It is what it is, though. Dizzy Blonde says for nails at the cabin. Yeah. Lucky for me, I'm very resourceful, Dizzy Blonde. I got to build a whole new cabin, and lucky for me, the forest provides. All I have to buy is nails and screws and fasteners. I might have to buy a little bit of roofing material, you know, because that's kind of difficult unless I just want to use a tarp for a roof, which is a good temporary solution. But anyway, I frequent Dizzy Blonde. I go to like flea markets and garage sales. And when I see like, you know, sometimes, and this is unfortunate, but, you know, sometimes somebody's grandpop will die or somebody's dad will die and they have a garage sale and that some old guy will have like a big old coffee can full of nails. I buy them. My current cabin was built with a lot of stuff like that because why should I pay like $8 a box for a small box of nails at Home Depot if for $10 I can get this huge coffee can full of nails and screws, right? And at the cabin in the shed, I have a bunch of jars just filled with nails and things like that. So the new cabin, all I really need is some nails and screws and time and some kind of roof material, probably tar paper and rolled roofing and some muck. But the forest will provide the rest. I already have some doors and I have some windows for the cabin that I sort of got cheap or trash picked, or people gave me windows. I asked around some of my neighbors, hey, you got any old windows you don't need? I got a few on Facebook Marketplace. I'm ready to go for that new cabin, but I got to finish the porch on the current, the sequence of events is finishing the porch on the current big cabin. My wife always wanted a covered porch. I want to give her that. That's turning into quite a project. Pathfinder says, love recycling stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's big. That's why I'm able to do some of the things I'm able to do, because I'm not going to Home Depot to buy wood. At the current cabin, the first cabin that I built, I helped somebody tear down a whole barn. In exchange, I got a lot of 2x4s and beams and barn siding, and I built a whole workshop and shed out of that stuff. It was free. It took one day to go help somebody tear this barn down and load the crap in my car. Had to make a couple of runs with that stuff, but I got basically a free shed out of it, you know. Yes, Patty says recycle. Yeah. Hank McGurk says, then I have to throw the hat out. Rest of the homos will be talking. I don't know what you're talking about. Hank McGurk is always talking some kind of nonsense. Matthew A says, consider doing an interview or talk with Patrick from Vetted. He's mostly a believer, but open-minded. He's been under fire asking questions over Corbell Grush. Yeah, to be quite honest, Matthew, I don't really like that guy. I think he's a clickbait merchant. I don't care what his stance are or if he's suddenly going to start asking hard questions. He built his whole channel with clickbait, and I don't like that. And I'm entitled to my opinion. I don't think he earned his. I don't think he earned his space. You know, all of his views are coming from sensationalized clickbait titles. But that's just my opinion. Everybody's free to do their show their way. Yeah. High Speed Chase says, good night, friends. Got to hang with the wife. Stephen in live chat. Have a great night. And fear the Wookiee spanker. Yes. So we have done our due diligence. We'll get my banner down, get those good night messages ready. We're going to bounce on out of here. But before we do, I forgot that I have a special. We're going to play us out with, if I can find it. No, I can never find this thing. Oh, yeah, wait. I know where it is, I think. There is a music video, wonderful music video by Simon Fly, which is wonderful. My thanks to Simon Fly. So we're going to play out tonight's show with a special music video featuring David Wilcock. It's called I'm David Wilcock. I'll be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I hope you'll be here with me. It'll be the last live show for the week. I haven't decided on the replays because, as I said, when I do the replays, we get no new subscribers for those 3 days. But somehow, if I just let the channel go dark for 3 days, we get a bunch of new subscribers. I don't understand how this stuff works. So, but I'll make an announcement. We'll talk about that tomorrow night. I'll be back with one more great live show for the week. Then I'm cabin bound on Friday. I'll be heading to the cabin, and I'll be there until Sunday. So we've got one more show to get through for the week after tonight. That will be tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be here. Hope you'll be here with me. So we made it through another Wacky World of Wilcock episode, friends. Yes. So that's all I got for you. Until next time, friends. My name is Stephen Cambion. Good night, and God bless all of you.
Oh yeah, look at that. Very good. 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 I'm David Wilcock. I'm David Wilcock. I'm David Wilcock. Cock, cock, cock. Wow. 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 Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Wilcock. 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 It's here. Cock. Cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Extraterrestrials, angels, angels, cock. Woo! 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 Cock. 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 I'm David Wilcock.